Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados, live right here on Thinking Critical YouTube. We got big things popping in the comic book world. We got Absolute Power popping off. We got Blood Hunt, I guess, winding down on the way to Venom War. We've got Boob Studios sold off. All kinds of fantastic things to talk about this week with a great panel. Returning is Uel Carter, the proprietor of Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. Been a long time, Uel. You big time this.
It's been a big time deal. No, there was like a comic show I wanted to go to, and in Berkeley it happens it's like quarterly. And I just been having some stuff I've been having to deal with on Saturdays. But I've been watching. You've seen me in comments and chat,
Absolutely.
So I've been watching.
Hopefully you've been enjoying, and obviously you had a free comic book day probably caught up in there.
Oh God, was that was a while ago.
ago?
I've been on since then. Yeah, free comic book day. But those chickens are coming home to roost finally. You have the Turtles finally starting up soon. You have X-Men starting up soon. You got some of the Blood Hunt and Spider-Man Absolute Power things going on. So I think this is a good time for me to be on.
Very nice. So X-Men 1 came out this week.
Mm-hmm.
What was the reaction, the general tenor surrounding X-Men?
Well, it sold well. I mean, the variant covers are pretty sharp. You got a Momoko, you got the JTC -1, you have a J. Scott Campbell Psylocke. Those all sold out at distributor, including the #1 cover. So on that alone, it's been doing pretty well. I have reordered the ones that I can still get just to make sure I'll have some when #2 comes in, stuff like that. But X-Men's been doing pretty well. I haven't really heard, they just got it on Wednesday. It's not like everybody here that reads the book a week.
They don't read the book in the store with you?
No, I don't want them to. In fact, I say get out as soon as you buy it. But no, it's been doing well, and I'm looking forward. Truthfully, I know we're going to get into talking about good comics that came out this week, but the Action Comics that came out written by Gail Simone has buoyed my hopes for her X-Men book. Just let you know.
Well, she's not going to have Eddie Barrows on her X-Men book.
Well, that's true, but
that art was fantastic.
Yeah,
in that comic book. It looked very, very slick.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So there we go. Doc and I actually have reviewed X-Men #1, but that'll be out on the YouTubes on Monday. So that'll be fun. Also returning to the channel, we've got Josh. Are you supporting MVP? Are you a fan of Montavious, whatever Porter, whatever that guy is from WWF? What is it? Montel Vantavious Porter.
Oh yeah, I don't know who either of those people are that you listed. I'm just I'm the MVP. That's what I'm thinking. No, it was more so of I needed a blue hat because I'm wearing a blue shirt and I couldn't find another blue hat.
So do you always match?
I usually try to color coordinate. Usually this does not happen. But
do your shoes match your shirt always?
Not always, but I try. I do.
Does your belt match your shoes? That's the big question.
Oh yes, when I'm in my dress clothes and I'm wearing a belt, the belt matches the shoes. Is that the same?
Wow, because I have one pair of shoes that I wear.
What? Oh, you have one
pair?
I have
one pair of shoes that I wear, and they have to match everything.
Flip-flops are not shoes, Wes.
Yeah, flip-flops are not shoes, Wes.
This is a national shoe of the Philippines. What are you talking about? It's hot.
I mean, it's no, I'm look, if there's one gay trait that I have, it's that I have a shit ton of shoes. So
Josh, it's funny that you say that because I had a coworker back when I worked at Allstate, and one day she asked me, she goes, "Can I ask you something?" I said, "Sure, what's up?" And she goes, "Are you gay?" And I said, before I answer that, let me just ask you, what brought up that question? And she goes, "Well, I noticed that like your shoes always match your shirt." And I was like, "Is that all it takes?"
Apparently,
it's
the bar is very low.
Yes.
There you go, Josh. You've been absent for a couple of weeks here, doing the works and all those things.
Yeah. I mean, I missed last week. I was here the week before that, but then I was absent for like a month. So it's nice to be here. This week has sucked though, because Hurricane Beryl moved through, and I went like half the week without power. So. I'm still pissy about it.
You're complaining to me about not having power for 4 days.
Yeah, absolutely. I sure as heck am.
We went 3 weeks without power due to a typhoon.
We live in the first world.
Yes. Yeah, but
I'm not even going to tell you what happened when the earth. No, that wasn't an earthquake. That was another typhoon.
Yeah, but
we get too many typhoons.
You have water nearby, right? Like you have a aren't you right by the ocean? Can't you just go get a little breezy? I walk outside, it's just like fields of farm and cows.
Did you know that all the roofs here are made of aluminum? What do you think happens in high wind?
Oh,
aluminum flies off, and you're looking to get your head chopped off if you're outside during the breeze.
True. It sounds nice in rain, though.
Man, I remember like the first real big typhoon I experienced here. I was like sleeping in this living room with my wife and kids, and we were listening and hearing the roof pull off the house. Like, God, that's going to be expensive. Hope it doesn't get too dangerous.
Right.
How many people are just like how many people are bisected every typhoon just by flying sheets of aluminum?
It's got to be a lot. So it happens here. Although last week we had an earthquake that literally happened like 40 or 50 kilometers away from my house. I couldn't believe it. So thankfully everything ended up okay with that one, so it wasn't too big. But we've got Josh back. Anything popping on the Popeye Culture a YouTube channel that people need to know about?
We just got some stuff in the pipeline. So we've got a Marvelous Monday episode over. Oh shit, what is it? A Captain Marvel coming out. I don't know. You know, skip rewatching that and just skip rewatching the movie and just come watch our conversation. But we've got some graphic novel talks coming up, so that'll be fun.
Wait, so Very Carol hasn't come out of the closet yet?
Who?
Yeah, probably yes, Carol.
Oh yeah, no.
Yul, I forgot to ask you anything people need to be looking out for on Fantastic Comics. Do you have any of those big interviews? I know you got some friends that like to show up.
Oh, 2 weeks ago, I had a big gay episode with Joe Corallo and my buddy Rick Worley. They both have worked in comic books. I would recommend checking that out. I actually took a 2-week hiatus for the first time on the show for ever since it began. And that was nice. Not nice.
You were so gay you needed 2 weeks off to recover?
No, I took the 2 weeks. I took the 2 weeks off before the gay episode. That was the big return.
It was for research.
Wow.
Yeah,
was it for
research?
So
gay he had to prepare.
He had to get the glitter out of his eyebrows. That's what he's saying.
I had to do some stretches.
You know what I should have asked you about, Yul? You're the biggest Spider-Man fan I know. What are your thoughts on Joe Kelly? Are you excited for that?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I know there's some elements to it that people are like about, and we don't really know the full parameters of what the job, is going to be for him. But Joe Kelly, this is before the Neil Gaiman. So I did the gay episode, and then I did a little talk about Neil Gaiman last week. And, he's in trouble. But when I was talking about really great American writers, a lot of times we put the penciler in with that. So like Frank Miller, John Burns, stuff like that. I think when you're thinking about the Neil Gaimans and the Alan Moores and all the people that came over from Europe, and you're like, well, who are the Americans that we should really be thinking about? For sure, definitely in the 90s and to today, it was Joe Casey, Joe Kelly, Men of Action. Those are the real deep American superhero writers. Sometimes they do other things too. But I'm looking forward to it. Go Joe
Ed
Kelly.
McGinnis, Gleb Melnikov, awesome artists, at least on the book. So that should be good. Who else we got here? We got Aaron Sparrow with a very menacing figure in the background. Who's that?
It's one of the Kneel Before Doomface covers that we'll be offering for the upcoming campaign.
What's wrong with his eye?
What do you mean?
Is there something wrong with his eye?
It's just the way he looks, man. It's just his face.
Okay.
Why you got it? Why are you hating?
You don't look Doomface right in the eye, too. He's kind of he's like Prince like that.
I don't know. That's one thing. That's something that Renzo added to it. Sometimes he draws him with like one dilated pupil, one small pupil, and I really like the way that it like kind of changes.
Creeping me out.
Expressions. Yeah, it's supposed. Come on, he's not supposed to. You're not supposed to see him and go, that guy seems nice. He's the base of your doom, man.
How's
doing
the
all
toy
right.
thing company? You doing all right? You find any good toys lately?
Toy thing's going great. I found a couple of wrestling figures this week that I picked up. Some more GI Joes.
Tatanka?
No, Tatanka. What is that noise?
That is...
Okay, that's coming from here. I thought it was coming in my house somewhere.
That's the sound of your Norton antivirus saying your pirate site is giving your computer a VD.
There you go.
I was like, sounds like a truck is backing up. No, so yeah, everything's going really well. Toys are great, comics are great. Working on all kinds of stuff. Getting accused of just parroting things that your boy Zach says. So I will be his live stream proxy today on the show. So there you go.
Ooh, very nice. Are you excited for San Diego Comic-Con? Are you getting jazzed up for all those exclusives?
No, I hate San Diego Comic-Con now. I worked on as part of the committee for over 20 years. I kind of hate what that show has become. I will be down there for a couple of days. I'm going to go down there and I'm going to help out Aaron Lopresti at his booth and just hang out. But if I didn't have just a base of operations on the show floor to just hang out and not have to walk around and be miserable, I would not be going.
Uel, is San Diego Comic-Con miserable? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can't stand it.
Isn't that like
I don't do cons
Mecca?
anyway. I can't. There's a
You
time.
just said you went...
Doc hasn't said anything. I'm gonna get it in first. I can't fucking stand conventions.
Cosplayers.
And San Diego's the worst. I mean, I like being a customer at a convention, but I hate being a person working at a show. It's the worst. The worst.
Is it too many people?
All you fuckers. I can't stand you.
I can tell you exactly
only at a show though, mind you.
I can tell you exactly what it is. The celebutards suck all the money out of the room, and the cosplayers suck all the attention in the room, and then piss and moan when they get attention.
No, it's not even that. It's like you if you're a retailer or a person working a booth, man, people are just, oh, I paid full price for all this other fucking shit, but you should have to take a cut. Yeah. Fuck you. Those tables are expensive.
Yeah, it's eBay Con.
And I was an employee. I felt that way. You know what I mean?
San Diego has become eBay Con, and granted, a lot of that has gone away because companies realized they don't need to truck all that product to San Diego. Companies like Hasbro and things like that, they can just give you a code, and then you can go online and you can buy it directly from them. And they get to cut a lot of their costs of having employees, putting them up for the weekend, paying them to work, having things shipped back. So a lot of that has gone away, but it is still very much like celebutard. It's people that are hoping to get into Hall H, and Hall H is back this year with Marvel and everything like that. So unfortunately, last year we benefited from the strikes because people that showed up actually wanted to be there for comic books and comic book creators. But now this year, we're back to the same old of it being Celebrity Con. And I don't have any problem with the cosplayers. I mean, they do bring out families. It is kind of like a fun thing for people to do. And the work that they put in is absolutely fantastic. What I do have a problem with, though, is when they have the big elaborate cosplays and they're in the middle of the aisle and they're blocking up all of the traffic around people's tables that paid for their tables to be there. That is a problem. That's the only big problem I have with any of the cosplayers. Otherwise, I think it's a fun addition to the show.
So if I show up to Dallas Fan Expo with my kids and he's wearing his Robin costume, you're going to tell me to nix him, get that kid out of here?
Yes.
I'm going to say, well, you know what? If his Robin costume is so good and you're standing in front of, an artist's table and there's 87 people around trying to take his picture, well, first of all, you need to be worried because
you have no idea how cute my son is.
he's gonna draw that crowd. Everybody's gonna be like,
absolutely.
Aw.
Every lady in the entire convention will be gathered around him as he holds court.
You're gonna dress up as Batman, Wes. Come on, you know it.
No, his older brother's got the Batman costume, but it's more dark and brooding than the Robin costume, which is a little bit more expressive and cute. You know what I'm saying?
So we'll all be upset. We'll be like, how come he's getting so much female attention? This is bullshit. And Josh will be like, I don't know what you guys are bitching about. You need to settle down.
There you go. Aaron Sparrow, not happy with San Diego Comic-Con. I guess it's no longer the destination. If you're
there's so many cons that I prefer now. I mean, San Diego is one of the best cities to have a con in because San Diego's awesome. At least it used to be back when they chased all the meth heads out. But now, because of our political situation here in California, all of that is back. So the Gaslamp Quarter is a little more dangerous now than it has been for the last decade or so. But
gotta go down to Tijuana and experience a little safety.
Right, exactly. It's getting to that point. But the great thing about con, I'll be there at least probably Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I think I'm coming home Friday night. I won't be there for Saturday or Sunday. But the nice thing is you get to hang out with a bunch of people that you get to catch up with people that you haven't seen in a while that travel in from around the country, be they artists, writers, fans, and you get to meet fans. You get to meet people who come up and they've seen Comics Aficionados, and and most of them don't try to take a swing at you. Most of them are happy to see you. So.
So there's a big discussion going on.
Tell Wes this from me.
Who's the great American writer that Uel is going with there? Obviously, he said the two Joes. I'm going with Denny O'Neil personally as the great American writer that's not also an artist.
Definitely very
there
good.
We go. And now we've got the Sul of Soup himself, who helped me out with the comic book rundown on the Patreon this week. We got to talk about comic books for 2 hours and a half. Mm-hmm. All the good stuff, all the bad stuff.
And all the
you said
stuff.
Everything was good.
I did. Again?
Most everything was good.
Mostly. Well, you know me. I'm Mr. Positive, ebullient, ray of sunshine. Thank you, Wes. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see everyone.
Fantastic. How's the channel coming?
It's doing all right, man. It's I just broke 1,500 subscribers. I got monetized. For you know what I mean. I think I earned $3.68 last month. So, it was nice.
You can take super chats now.
I can, but I mean,
I didn't see the option when I was looking the other day.
Yeah, I haven't turned that on yet because it's more of like, I don't know what to do with that. Seriously, I'm like,
you don't want to go full whore.
I don't want to be, because seriously, people are calling people like me and Mr. Sparrow last night grifters, and they don't even know what our thing is about. And they just like to throw out terms out there and just slap a label on you. You're a grifter. You're a bigot.
I'm an entrepreneur,
dude. And hashtag, renew the acolyte. I'm all about that.
You love the acolyte. Very nice.
No, not really.
No, but I want more acolyte. I want them to greenlight a season 2. I want Disney to keep pouring money down this hole. That's what I want until the company absolutely just starts to collapse under its own.
Until they have to sell it off.
Sell it off, or until like somebody, they push out their terrible leadership and they actually get some people in there that want to make money again and kind of want to bring the company back to what Walt's vision for it was. I am in favor of them just doing all of this stuff. Just lose as much money as possible. Please spend $600 million on Captain America 4. Please do that. In fact, spend more. Spend $1 billion on it.
Billions
Captain
and
America
billions.
trailer. Were you excited about the Captain America trailer, Sully?
I checked it out because I thought we'd be talking about it today. I kind of have no interest in it because I'm like, he doesn't have any super serum in his blood, but I know that vibranium, because Howard Stark said this in one of the first movies, that vibranium weighs a third less than steel. So there's your, he can fly with that thing, sure.
He's third less is not that much less. It's a slightly thinner manhole cover. That's all it is. Do you realize how fucking heavy that thing is in steel? 66% of that is still fucking heavy. He'll still rip his goddamn arm off when he throws it.
Did not realize we were going to get into that one, but we do have Doc. Domesticated Doc, how you doing, buddy?
I am great. And, Sully, I think you made a good point here.
Sully is right.
No, you're not. You don't have all that much interest in Captain America 4. I think Disney's going to find out. Neither does the rest of the country.
I think people will be interested in clowning on it.
You know what? I don't even know if people are that interested in that anymore. I've kind of lost my. Eventually, it feels like you're just beating up the kid on the short bus, and I feel like we've reached that point with making fun of Disney, Marvel, where at this point we're it's just kind of mean to punch a retard, and that's where we're at.
Very nice.
So, No, but I am doing phenomenally well this week. And I'm happy to be here for the show this week.
Very
Not
good. We
bad.
do have a couple super chats. We got Cal Miley. He says, Falcon, January 6th, the movie. And I hate everyone in Agatha, My Gay Son. The actress did this 10-minute song about emotional attached versions.
Ugh.
Oh, they're going to insult the audience again.
Yeah,
That always works out.
Yeah, fantagonism.
I did not like the Agatha After All trailer. I think if it was just like a sequel to that stupid Bette Midler like witch movie or a show about like spun off of that, it'd be fine. Hocus Pocus.
They
yes,
already-
if it was Hocus Pocus,
They already
TV
did
show.
that.
Yeah, but I
they
think
already did
people would.
Hocus Pocus too. It was terrible.
But
too.
as a superhero thing that's attached to the MCU, it's not very exciting. Josh, if there's anyone I know that liked it, it was you. What did you think?
Yeah, the Agatha trailer. My comment to the group chat was, well, it's better than I thought it would be, but it's still not excitement. No, I mean, look, the first like 15, 20 seconds where it looks like it's almost a crime drama. I was like, hey, I want to watch whatever that show is. I'll watch that. But
Yeah,
the
it looked like
moment
it was
the
like
witch-
true crime or something.
Yeah, the moment the witch stuff started coming in and it started going camp, I was turned off. I really don't like that kind of stuff. And then they made Billy way too gay, like way too stereotypically. Like I can't. I just can't.
So you're talking about Wiccan. I didn't even realize that was Wiccan
Yeah, that's Wiccan.
because it's such an odd portrayal of the character. It didn't seem like he was supposed to be him.
Yeah, the actor is Joe Locke, he's on that Netflix. What's the comic Heartstoppers? So it's like a little gay teen series, and he got a lot of fame for it. But the moment they cast him, I was like, oh, this is not going to be good.
Yeah, we're
I thought he was Iceman. The portrayal was so stereotypically gay.
Oh my goodness. Cal says that was so funny. F these people. And there was a time I wanted to see Red Hulk as a standalone villain, but they wasted that years ago. I guess that was the big main event, like little teaser there at the end, Aaron, is you got to see the Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't, and that people are mad because I put up a post and, very tongue-in-cheek, sarcastically talking about how the CGI doesn't look very good, but that, several CGI, VFX artists were killed in the making of it, because of how overworked they are. And, it's funny, a post that is basically advocating for better working conditions for VFX artists under Marvel turned into a bunch of corporate stands coming out, rando anonymous people with like under 100 followers coming out and defending soulless corporate product, leave alone the $1 billion corporation. It's pretty funny.
Well, people want their Jordans. It doesn't matter if child labor was involved in that.
That's true. That's true. I just look, and I'm fine. If you're excited to see, Falcon America 4, Brave World of, newness or whatever, the New World Order or whatever the hell. If you're excited about it, awesome. I'm glad that you're psyched to go see it. I hope it's good. I hope you like it.
Yes.
But I'm over it, and I don't know why people are upset that some people are over it. I'm certainly not angry that some people are going to enjoy it.
I wish I could enjoy it as much
We
as
all
people.
we all have to grow up and escape comic book movies sometimes. There's other things out there.
I resoundingly reject the
television.
assertion, Yule. I don't have to grow up. I got a job. I take care of my family. In my spare time, I want to be a kid again.
And
Well,
you're a Toys R Us
Spare
kid.
time. This is your time.
Although I'm watching way more dinosaur stuff right now than the MCU because my youngest is just obsessed with dinosaurs.
Well, if you want your channel to really blow up,
Well, yeah,
I
like
get a dinosaur channel.
Dinosaur
Dinosaurs.
aficionados.
Jurassic World collection or action figures would be more popular.
I could do at least one episode just to let you know.
Remember, for a little while, we were asking guests what their favorite dinosaur was. I think we need to go back to that.
Did you know? Want to know what my new name is to the kids, or at least the two youngest?
Datasaurus Rex.
No, Papasaurus Wes.
Oh, that's much better.
That's like a reverse dad joke.
Exactly. So we've been doing that one. Callum also says, also Sabra's Israeli, by the way, so tell the people who pretend to care about Palestine and act like it's written by incest subhuman troglodytes.
Damn! Tell us how you're really.
You know what's interesting? You know what's interesting, Wes, and I guess we'll probably talk about this on Wednesday's show since we have our regular "What Stupid Thing Did Rachel Leishman Say This Week" segment. But Mary Sue Ryder and Rachel Leishman got into it. Yeah, she got into a beef with Star Wars Theory where she was talking about misogyny and how he was targeting women and using that to grift and etc. And I thought, oh wow, Rachel Leishman, champion of women. And this whole argument is over the fact that she just interviewed Leslie Headland, who was Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant, and fed him a bunch of actresses for him to, do his business with, which we all know what that is. She's a real champion of feminism and of women there, isn't she? Because she interviewed Leslie Headland, and not one question was about her, what she did for Harvey Weinstein.
Dude, that's all about
it was all fawning about the acolyte.
It might have been off limits. I don't know.
Yeah, but if you're a journalist, you know what you do? You ask it at the end.
No one
get it in there.
Her to be a journalist, do they?
No, she's just a shill. But I just think it's funny that people who talk about being such champions of feminism, champions of women, and get upset, that anyone would dare question a woman, and her opinion on the internet on pop culture, and fly that flag. I think it's funny that she interviewed Leslie Headland, had no qualms about that whatsoever because she got to suck up a little and get a little closer to Star Wars.
Next up, Cal says Kevin Feige now reminds me of the family from Get Out. He probably is racist, but too stupid to realize it. The entire family?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, the entire
family. Well, Josh is the movie
like
aficionado. Did you like Get Out? Does that remind you of Feige?
I never watched Get Out. It's on.
Oh, really? I did. I liked it.
It was a pretty good movie, but it was before you understood that Jordan Peele is a literal one-trick writer.
He
only has one story. That was a good story.
Mm-hmm. And he did take the piss. He did take the piss out of lazy liberal racism, where it was kind of a commentary on the way that liberals kind of passively aggressively go out of their way to prove how not racist they are by fawning over African Americans, and so there's a little bit of commentary
and infantilizing them.
Yeah, and absolutely infantilizing them. That I thought was interesting and was kind of like off the cuff. You don't usually see a leftist kind of taking that tact and telling that story.
It's kind of like a CGC slab comic book.
Crack that slab, man. Crack it.
I like comic books. Look at it. It's on my wall.
Adam Frey, how does Disney have enough cash to hire Harrison Ford, but not enough to get him to grow Ross's trademark mustache? That's a good question. I want to say good luck in catching your Pokemon, sir. It sounds like he's going to be playing some Pokemon Go or something. Is that still a thing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, you know what it is? It's Harrison Ford shows up and they're like, okay, so this character has a mustache, and he's like, I'm not growing a goddamn mustache. Just roll the camera. I'll shoot the goddamn scene, but I'm not growing a mustache. Just like when he showed up for Rise of Skywalker, they're like, we need you to come in and do this stupid scene with Adam Driver. He's like, I'll shoot the goddamn scene. They're like, can you shave and like maybe get the haircut that you had in Force Awakens? I'm not doing that. Just roll the camera. The thing that I'm really excited about is like 6 months from now, a year from now, when they're doing the press junket for this, and they're like, "So Harrison Ford, what's your favorite Marvel movie?" And he's like, "I don't care." Just like he does with Star Wars. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, he legit refused to grow a mustache. That is 100% Harrison Ford. It's out there.
Very nice. Caleb says this is a rumor. Wakanda 3 might have T'Challa raised by only women. So Ghetto, I thought the stereotypes were old.
I mean, one, that's funny, but two, there's like nobody there. So yeah, it makes sense. They killed all the guys.
It's gonna be like an episode of 227.
So we're literally going with the deadbeat dad.
He's literally dead. He's not alive.
Yes, I know.
It's not like he's like.
Yeah. Yes, deadbeat dad.
Does anybody want a T'Challa Jr. movie?
No.
Does anybody want that?
I don't think they're going to do Wakanda 3. I think they're just going to wait for Secret Wars and reintroduce.
No, they announced they've got what's the TV show coming out?
Yeah,
it's coming. I wish they would. Yeah, I wish they'd just do multiverse, have another T'Challa come in, cast a good actor, and run with that.
I wish they just
that'll do just as well as this stupid Amazon island without Wonder Woman. Oh, so you're giving me the setting without the hero that I like? Well, that'll work.
Well, how many times has that worked for Batman? Like, here's Gotham. Oh, is Batman in it? Nope.
Well, even in the one where you had a young
Gotham.
Gordon, Gotham. Bruce was there, but he was 9.
Trash.
Here was the thing about that show.
Why are you trashing the OC guy?
It's that show was either a show about a very ineffective cop or a show that eventually means that Batman beats up the geriatric. Because there's only since that he was like 9, and all of the villains that he's fighting when he grows up, other than Catwoman, are already adults. So either Gordon is a very ineffective cop, which obviously he was, or Batman beats up the elderly.
There's a great skit that is just about how ham-handed that show was, where it's just every character, like the character says he rattles off a riddle, and then one of the guys goes, "Hey, you're a real Joker," and he goes, "Actually, I'm more of a Riddler," and he looks right into the camera, and then he holds it for a second, and then he goes, "Riddler. I'm going to be the Riddler."
I don't know. The worst character on that show was easily Fish Mooney, and that's the reason I stopped watching it when she became a big deal.
And the worst human being on the show, as it turns out.
Neil Gaiman, those women should be celebrating their victimhood, their victims now, and I thought that was amazing for women since that's what they want.
I thought they wanted more shoes.
I don't think it's amazing for women to be victims or have to say anything about being a victim, but I think I understand what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's very much speaking to the victim mentality culture that we have, where everyone gets ahead by being a victim in one way or another.
And it makes irrelevant women relevant again.
Oh my goodness, Doc.
Well, they're currently irrelevant.
You're a terrible human being.
They are currently irrelevant people. Like, they don't matter. Like, nobody even knows who they are.
Well, nobody knows.
Well, the thing though, Doc, is do we know who Neil Gaiman is? At one time, we never cared. We like little. I guess it all started with the lifestyles of the rich and famous.
I'll tell you this: in 1993, I went to Chicago Comic-Con, and I went to a midnight reading that Neil Gaiman did. And he was on it was on Sandman at the time. He was starting to get some notoriety, and he already had like a rock star attitude, like coming out in his leather jacket, and he's so cool, and he really came out like he was somebody. So does that mean that he committed these acts in the way that they were described? No, not necessarily. But there is a tendency when these things happen, we look at the women that are making the accusations, and we start like trying to figure out what their motives are, and we just start trying to parse, what's truth and what's not. And the fact of the matter is, we'll never really know. But the thing with this is when we start going like, well, these women are clearly damaged. Yes, it's often damaged women that get themselves in these situations. So in no way invalidates necessarily whether or not these things happened. And so I just want to make that clear that, we said, Wes, when you and I covered it, there's no way for us to really know what happened behind closed doors. It's very he said, she said. Truth often lies somewhere in the middle, but if there is a steady pattern and more women come forward, then, we'll have to take it to, have to take those things a little more seriously. But at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me or my life because I don't have any connection to Neil Gaiman, and neither do really any of us, aside from the fact that we know who he is.
And we like toppling our hero. I mean, I can't wait till Aaron's so big that we have to start talking shit about him.
The Aaron expose on the channel is going to be fun.
Let me tell you about this Sparrow guy. You know what I mean?
Do you want? That's the benefit of saying everything. Saying everything out in public that you say behind closed doors. Aside from the fact that it costs you work and things like that. People will go like, "Well, didn't he say that?" he tweeted that. Like, how is this a revelation?
Next up, Calvin says, "Yeah,
you're okay."
I'm Red Hulk. I don't care. I want weed. Oh, you think Harrison Ford's into weed?
He's super into weed.
He's super into weed.
I'm not a fucking pothead.
Carrie
I don't read
had
420
great
magazine. What's everyone yelling at me? He's like, Woody Harrelson?
We were in London, and Harrison had this weed that would just blow my mind, and I don't know how he could work on that stuff. This is like paraphrases, but Carrie Fisher was just like, "Oh yeah, Harrison's a total bothead."
That weed back then isn't like it is today.
That's true.
We got science like crazy in our weed these days.
Isn't it weird though that Harrison Ford is a pothead but is also so grumpy? Like those two things don't generally go together.
He's
still hooked up with Ally McBeal, right?
Yeah,
maybe there's a reason.
Yeah, totally.
Well, look, if he wasn't, can you imagine how grumpy he'd be if he wasn't smoking pot all the time? The guy'd be a megalomaniac. He would have already tried to destroy the world.
Odin 87 Morning Gang. If you were in charge of Absolute Universe, which creators would you pick? You can pick anyone from any time. Assemble your dream team.
Warren Ellis.
You put Warren Ellis on Absolute Batman?
Hell yeah, any day. He's amazing.
I'll put Gil Kane on every cover.
Ha ha ha! Nice.
Cover artist Gil Kane. Aaron, who's doing Absolute Superman?
Oh, I wouldn't do an Absolute Universe. I'd work on fixing the actual DC universe.
Oh, I got that. You got to play into the thing here, man.
75 things that were given us.
Who would I put on Absolute Superman? Let's see. Probably Peter J. Tomasi or Dan Jurgens.
There we go. We got Peter J. Tomasi on Ultimate Superman. Josh, who's doing Ultimate Wonder Woman?
Not Tom King, that's for sure. Ultimate Wonder Woman, who would I do? I'd probably throw like someone like Venditti on there. See if he can get a little traction. Bring some clout back.
What if it has to be a woman?
Oh God, we're fucked, man.
Not G Willow?
G Willow Willis she's probably the best option that's out there right now to bring onto the book. Yeah, I guess.
What about Marjorie Liu?
Maybe.
Yes.
Was she like stealth canceled or something?
She's doing.
I don't ever see her. Oh no, Marjorie Liu. I'm thinking of the person that did X-Men. Astonishing. Was that her?
That was Marjorie.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. I'm stupid.
I think she's probably moved on to bigger and better.
Be nice.
Doc, you're doing the Ultimate Justice League. Who's the rider?
Let's see.
Mark Miller.
You just got to put a name in there, man.
I do Miller and drawn by Kurt Swan's corpse.
Well, there we go. We got Ward Ellis on Absolute Batman. We got Peter J. Tomasi on Absolute Superman. Who did you went? Robert Venditti on Absolute Wonder Woman, Mark Miller on Absolute Justice League, and Gil Kane doing covers. There we go. We did it.
But who's doing Absolute Ambush Bug?
We're not doing that.
Obviously.
Just trying to make some money. Carlitos Figueroa is excited and cautious for Brave New World. I feel they're setting up a Hulk franchise, and I hope they have the OG in it. I don't have the force Mark Ruffalo back in just to make it good.
They're going to bring Ruffalo back, and he'll end up being more hipster douchebag Hulk because he won't be real Hulk anymore.
Hulk in a cardigan does not work for me.
It doesn't work for anybody.
Hulk as Mark Ruffalo doesn't work for me. Just making him big green Mark Ruffalo doesn't work. It's like
I wonder
worst possible. Like, okay, the Hulk is rage and and power and masculinity, pushed to its ultimate degree. None of those things describe Mark Ruffalo.
You know what?
We need Leo in there. Get him on some juice, jack him up. He's masculinity personified. He's probably nailed 1,000 chicks at this point. Huh? What do you think, Josh? Leo DiCaprio is Hulk?
Look, I'm not the biggest Leo fan. Like, I think he's a fine actor. But hold on.
The greatest actor of this generation. Let's not undersell the guy here.
I think he's fine, but every time I watch Leo, I see Leo. I don't see the character.
Because he's beautiful. You can't take your eyes off the man.
Wow.
And look, I would say he gets the ladies, but I don't know if I'd say he's the picture of masculinity. I'd name quite a few people before that. So
he is a vegetarian and ate a buffalo bison just for this role. That's as masculine as it gets.
The fact that he's a vegetarian already
makes him not masculine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it made him have a really masculine moment. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to eat this buffalo bison raw."
How are you vegetarian but also have a dad bod?
I don't know
that much soy.
Works, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, you know what? You're probably right, Doc. It's a lot of soy. It's a lot of cheese, maybe.
Josh, we need Ed Norton back as Hulk.
I was going to say that.
Sure.
It's been long enough.
Or just get a good writer to write Mark Ruffalo as Hulk and tell Mark Ruffalo to shut the fuck up when he's not, filming stuff. He was fine. He was fine in those first 2 Avengers movies. Like, let's be honest.
Mhm.
I have an idea. We can actually lobotomize Mark Ruffalo, and then Bruce Banner Bruce Banner's just kind of in like all twitchy in a chair, and then you just CGI in the Hulk. He doesn't say anything.
You can always go to the part where he's just Hulk all the time, but he's not dumb like Mark Ruffalo. It's all CGI anyway, right?
Yeah.
Let's get a real voice in there. I know. You think we're getting a Hulk franchise after Brave New World? Is that the plan, Josh? Is that what you're hearing?
You're definitely gonna start seeing more Hulk stuff. Because you have Liv Tyler coming back in this movie as well. So
what is she, like 50?
I mean, she's pushing that. So
they still can't do a solo Hulk movie.
Is that because of the film rights?
Yeah, because of the distribution rights. Distribution rights still lie with, what was it, Universal or Paramount? I can never keep those two straight.
I think it's Universal.
They still reside with them. So and Disney will take 100% of a fucking Night Thrasher movie over 50% of a Hulk movie every day of the week.
I'd love a Night Thrasher movie if I had any confidence they wouldn't screw it up.
My point though.
They can't even get Blade off the ground. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
Blade is the easiest slam dunk in the world, and they can't figure it out.
Caleb says, I think it's in the nature of women to destroy, and they should be kept out of men's hobbies since they try to destroy video games now. I think you're wrong on that one. As a married man, and very happily married, it's certainly not my wife's nature to destroy anything. It's their nature to empathize and try to make everything so where no one's excluded and stuff like that. I think that's really how they destroy it, is they try to open everything up, and then once people tell them they're wrong, it is certainly in their nature to not believe that accusation that they could be wrong.
Well,
what do you think? Am I completely off?
No, I like that. I mean, it's about bringing everybody together. I think you're right. It's not what comics isn't about bringing everybody together.
There is a reason
comics
why
are not for everybody. Comics are for everybody who likes comics.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the entire planet and every major religion has imposed strict societal restrictions on their sovereignty since the dawn of time in every place that humans have ever lived.
My goodness. I don't know what I'm going to do with the guy. I can't get rid of him at this point. My wife and I are equal partners, okay?
Equal partners. You heard him.
All right, let's get some shout outs for the Patreon backers. I do want to say thank you very much to everybody for supporting me on Thinking Critical Patreon. But this week we did have Dan Battles, aka the Battle Master, Protective Chicago return, and also thank you very much to Andrew Gonzalez, El Rayo himself, Protector of Boltberg, also upping his support for the channel on Think Critical Patreon. If you're interested in supporting us over there and having lots of extra bonus content in the form of podcasts, there's a link in the video description. And we are going to make it eventually to our very first topic, which is Absolute Power Flop. Someone's in there going, but Wentz, they already went to the first reprinting on Absolute Power. It must be an enormous success. They don't print like they used to. They print to order now. So everything goes to a second print. It doesn't matter if it was successful or not. But the information that I have, and I do want to throw this over to Uel Carter first, because you're actually a retailer, you're on the front line selling these comic books, is the limited information we have on sales is that it was actually outside the top 15. So wasn't in the top 5 like you would expect for a DC Comics mega event that's essentially crossing over every single hero. And we also see that now DC are selling Absolute Power bundles, $25 for 25 issues, certainly indicating that the orders are much lower than they ever could have anticipated.
Well, all right. So those bundles, just to let everybody know, you could get like 25 for, $25, basically $1 a book, which is a lot cheaper than when we're ordering individual issues. And the thing though is you have to order as much as something else that you've already ordered before. And if you screw up like me, or if you're like, man, there ain't no fucking way I'm going to order that many books just to get a free extra bundle of this shit, I'm not doing it. But So there should be a lot of absolute powers out there already going to a second printing. I don't even understand. I sold out of the copies that I bought. I ordered more and they'll be in this week. So where's the need for a second printing?
I'm sitting here going, I swear to God, I feel like I had fucking brain damage, because this is the exact same sales gimmick that Marvel did on Legacy.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Exactly
all right. So what Marvel was doing was they were offering tiers of discounts depending on how many issues that you would buy.
No,
so you're like, fuck. No, hold on though. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna buy a shit ton of these Avengers. Now I'm gonna get all these variant covers, and everybody's hot for Hickman and all this other stuff. But then later on down the line, like Doc says, they're like, hey, by the way, if you want to get this variant or this discount or this whatever, you got to get as many as whatever Avengers you're buying. And then you're like, fuck you.
Yeah, it was they directly tied the lenticulars to the amount of a completely different title that you bought last month. Like, it was so fucking goofy. It was the most goofy ordering scheme I have ever heard. And it failed miserably. And so many stores ended up, I mean, to this day, you could still find the lenticulars in their dollar bins because so many of them didn't move.
Yeah. Well, I understand that. We get as ordering, it's difficult sometimes because you think you know what people want, you think you know what people will be interested in, and sometimes with things like lenticulars, you might actually be purchasing them for customers that you don't normally sell to. So you can get really caught up in all that stuff. But yeah, I think that the absolute power bit though is just it's been really marketed poorly. I get the posters for the material that's coming out a week, maybe 2 weeks before it's coming out. Marvel's always come in early. Marvel, I just don't understand how DC has been this way for a long time. It's not just the beginning with Lunar. But they don't make these posters available for sale like Marvel does, unless you go to like poster companies. And then it's just, your generic Batman or maybe that one Jim Lee that everybody knows and stuff like that. But not anything that's current, not anything that's like, something of today. And I just think they did a really, really bad job promoting this book. You had that really long ass Batman storyline that's been going on for like 2 years. And then it's over on the 148th issue. And then there's a fill-in issue, and then 150 is the absolute power. And it feels like there's been, back in the day when you had Crisis and you had other miniseries, things were leading up to it to get you into it. But now it's just like, this is the next, we've talked about it here many a time. This is the next event. Hey guys, by the way, there's another event happening. I know it's just a small event within this one book that nobody really reads or everybody reads, but now this other thing's happening, and now this other thing's happening, and that's the world we live in.
It's honestly astounding to me that DC is in doing the kind of the kind of sales gimmickry that Marvel already tried. It proved itself to not work. And like everything else they've done for the past 15 years, it's just copy Marvel's homework and then wonder why it turns out exactly the same way.
I felt it was more like I was a huge fan of like Infinite Crisis and everything that led into it, there were so many build-up issues. They had the trade dress, it had the countdown and all this thing. So I mean, I think DC looks to me from these cheap seats that they're just doing the same thing they've always been doing.
Is anyone excited? I mean, and I'm asking this genuinely. Is anyone excited for an Amanda Waller event? Like
not
that
me personally, but I'm not a
that
Suicide
seems-
Squad guy.
But look, even if you are a Suicide Squad guy, like, is anyone excited for, like, anybody that's actually in the reading public excited for Amanda Waller as, I mean, it's literally a mid-level bureaucrat. It's, oh, hey, the government is a pain in my ass. Like, even when fucking Senator Kelly in X-Men was like, you know, this kind of big bad, he wasn't the big bad. He was just this kind of commentary on government intervention in people's lives and how it never really makes things better, even if they have good intentions. Actually making her a conniving, you know,
dude, she's on the side of the villains, right?
She's in cahoots with evil, dude.
I mean, give me a break. I'll tell you what I liked about Absolute Power.
Okay, yes.
In Ground Zero, there was that story with the Dreamer and Jay Nakamura, and he was telling her off. And I'm like, I've never even witnessed these characters have any kind of emotions. And, you know, and I'm like, wow, this actually was pretty cool, but I didn't care that much.
One thing I liked, I enjoyed the heck out of Suicide Squad Dream Team. I mean, we can the Eddie Barrows art really elevated Nicole Main's, you know, mediocre story into something, you know, pretty good. And it was fun just because the art and then the panels. And I mean, a lot of people slept on that one, no pun.
But you know what I didn't like? Task Force 7 #1.
I haven't read that, and I wouldn't recommend most people read it. If you, you know, if you like Absolute Power and you just gotta have another one, maybe try one of the normal comics.
This was my thinking when I read Dark Knight's Metal. I don't really, I mean, the art by Cthulhu is really good, but I don't like the Dark Knight's Metal story. But all the tie-ins where you had the messed up versions of Batman, where he took somebody else's powers, like Dawnbreaker and Red Death, that was the highlight for me. I thought a lot of those were really, really strong. This is supposed to be that kind of deal, but with the Mazo robots taking all the powers. And I don't know, it was weird. It's like Leah Williams didn't take the concept seriously. It was just them joking around for the entire issue. But I guess it's Leah Williams. Why'd you put her on?
I was about to say Leah Williams. That answers the question right there.
She might be my of the mainstream writers that I have read. I think Leah Williams is the one I like the least. There's a lot of other people. Like, I know some people like Ram V. I'm not really on Ram V's side, but Leah Williams is the one I stay away from.
I mean, she's just untalented.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I mean, we have a lot of untalented people in this industry now. I mean, that seems
this
like the
era, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always a JT Kroll, you know.
Yes, there is. There's always that writer. The problem is, instead of that being the outlier, that's now the norm. Getting even somebody that's even, you know, Howard Mackey level, is now that now gets you Amazing Spider-Man and the fucking
Howard
X-Men.
Mackey wrote Amazing Spider-Man.
I know, and that was, but you know when that was also when there was absolutely no talent left at Marvel, where they were all fucking gone. And it was before Marvel actually started bringing in writers like all the indie influx under Quesada. That's the last time Howard Mackey fucking wrote for Marvel. He hasn't had a gig there since. The problem is that's everybody at Marvel. That's everybody
I'll tell you
at
what,
DC.
people can surprise you though. Like I'm like, Bob Harris is garbage and everything he's ever done, and then he goes and does something over at DC, and it's like, wow, I can't believe this is actually pretty good, or
Yeah, an
something
Avengers
like that.
story
Maybe
about
Bob Harris. Maybe I'm thinking of a different jerky.
No, I had one of those with Stephanie Phillips, like her
Mhm.
Catwolf and the Howling Commando. Not an important book by any stretch, but
Right.
it's pretty entertaining, and the art's really good.
But one would question, is that the writer, or did they just get paired with a really good editor?
Well, yes, that might be true. Or
Hey,
maybe
maybe
they're
it's
more
really
invested. A person might be more invested in DC than they are over at Marvel. Marvel, it might be a
Fair.
job. DC was the thing they always wanted to do, or vice versa, or
The
independent.
Mark Waid effect.
Kind of like, I mean, Mark Waid had some good stuff over at Marvel, but I think overall his DC work is what people are going to always remember.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Yoel, but I feel like that's a lie. I don't believe Mark Waid.
You didn't like his Captain America?
I don't think Mark Waid's ever written anything worth paying for.
Oh, listen,
Come on, Kingdom
That's
Come.
because most of it's DC.
Every
Kingdom
single
Come is more Alex Ross.
His
than it's Mark
Fantastic Four was great. What are you talking about?
I look at this. Mark Waid is the canary in the coal mine for a comic publisher and for the comic industry. Whatever company he's working at that is willing to give that piece of shit a job is is basically on its deathbed.
You have to admit that no one got fucked more than Mark Waid when went over to Image before Heroes Reborn.
Yeah, he had his.
No,
His
someone did.
Captain
America
with
run
Alan Garney was
And nobody fucking bought it.
Someone did.
Nobody bought
Marvel, yeah, but the thing is like if you suck for so long, it takes a while for people to figure things out. You can't just go and do this fucking flashy thing, because then when you come back, people might not care as much.
I don't know. Ask Rob Liefeld. He managed to sell a couple of million copies of
Rob Liefeld
or like
has
a couple hundred thousand
of personality within comics.
Well, he managed to still. Hey, Cap was
He
shit
didn't
before that.
All those fucking issues. I know that.
No, all he needed to do was have his fucking name on it, and he still and he was still selling hundreds of thousands of copies.
He did.
He
saw the drop on that too.
He 10x Mark Waid.
Forever.
He 10x Mark Waid just by having his fucking name on the book.
Well, that's because the 90s was a time of, if you'll forgive the pun, image over substance. I will defend Uel here and say that Mark Waid's initial run with Captain America and Ron Garney was fantastic. I was so into it. And when they switched it over to Heroes Reborn, I was out. Like for all of Rob's contributions to the comic book industry, for the fact that I like Rob, for the fact that, and I didn't always like Rob, but as he's gotten older and I've gotten older, I like the guy. Rob cannot write his way out of a paper bag, and his the movies that he likes, the things that he gets excited about, are often pretty terrible,
or something he's involved with.
Yeah, just we don't have we don't have the same tastes, we don't have the same ideas about what makes good comics. Rob's got a good eye for art. He can rattle off why artists are good. He's got good taste in artists. But as far as
my favorite comics, I know that. I mean,
also as much as I think that Waid deserves everybody turning their back on him for the way that he behaves, I will say that he wrote my favorite Fantastic Four story of all time, and the Fantastic Four aren't even in it. It's just Dr. Doom, and it's a single issue, which is the beginning of Unthinkable, which I think is fantastic.
Go Mark Waid.
No more fights.
Well, did anyone enjoy
Rob Liefeld like Jurassic World Dominion? That's all you need to know about Mark or Rob Liefeld.
I'm gonna second liking Rob Liefeld too. I don't think he's a great artist, but he has a way about drawing. Like if you copy him and you can't do it, it's never gonna look as good or as powerful. And he knows a way to really. It's like a comic lizard brain, I think, is what Rob Liefeld is.
I think you guys are making the basic logical fallacy of equating his taste in things with his ability to move product.
No. He's got an ability to move product. There's no doubt there. And I will give him the credit of being involved with the creation of the last marketable characters ever that an artist ever created for Marvel. There really hasn't been a character that's been as big as Deadpool or Cable or any of the things that he brought to the table since. I think a lot of that is based on the fact that there's no incentive to do that anymore because, Disney, you get to work for the greater glory of Disney. That's why a lot of these companies are. I talked with Wes about, having to work for the greater glory of Ross Ritchie when you're at Boom. There is no real avenue for you to get a piece of the action. So why would you bother? But Rob was smart enough to negotiate himself a really good deal and to, get himself, so like from a business standpoint, there's things that Rob was really good at. Losing Youngblood to that con man, probably not great business, but you look at any successful businessman, they're going to have probably more missteps than they do successes. But when you have those successes, they cover a whole lot of missteps.
Mm.
But with a name like Mark Waid and certainly Dan Moore on the art, you would have expected at least the pre-orders and everything to be a little bit higher on Absolute Power. Because the information that we do have is that the interest, at least going into the event, I don't know if this is what you experienced, Uel, was the interest itself was tepid based on pre-orders and people getting it on their pull list and stuff.
Yeah, nobody said, "Oh, I have to have that." I have thought about it now since they are doing the crossovers or the Absolute Power tie-ins within the DC universe, that I should probably have more of those issues going forward, which I have made sure that's going to happen. But again, I'm not going crazy on it. People have to let me know that they care about something, or else, this is the last day for Absolute Power Task Force 7 because I have to do the FOC for the next month. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm probably doing the order for number 3 or 4 soon because I've already had to lock in 2 and 3. And if 7 number 1 isn't doing well, number 2 is not going to do well. And a lot of times number 2s just don't do as well anyway. I mean, anyway,
I'm excited for is the Jeremy Adams one, which I think is 3 or 4. I can't remember which one it is.
Mm-hmm.
But after reading that first one, I ain't coming back unless it's the Jeremy Adams one, or maybe if they brought in someone like Tom Waltz or something. But
right,
that thing was lackluster. I was even frustrated with the Green Lantern tie into it. Like really interrupted an awesome Green Lantern story.
Yeah.
That sucks. I haven't read that one yet because I personally haven't read Absolute Power number 1. And since it's selling, I probably won't. Now I'm thanks.
You read it, you're going to tell people like, listen, you don't want this book.
You don't want this book.
I've got Dawn Runner right there on the shelf.
Don't even read any of these DC tie-ins. Just buy them.
So what are your thoughts, Josh? Were you able to get your hands on an Absolute Power number 1? What are your thoughts so far on the event?
I mean, look, I have my hands on it. I have not read it yet. It keeps like shifting lower in my pile as books come in, but I keep putting any books on top of it. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier. I'm not excited about the event. I don't care. Having Amanda Waller front and center is not something that's gonna, get my juices flowing and make me want to.
Dan Mora? Is that not
I
enough?
like Dan Moore. Look, see, I'm one of those people that I love artists. I appreciate artists. I think artists can elevate a book, but if the story isn't grabbing me, I really don't care. And I just, to me, this is just more BS from DC doing the same thing that they keep doing that's not working. It's the story's not going to matter. I mean,
it's launching out the Absolute Universe in the all-in line.
Yeah, sure it is.
Sully, are you going to let him talk about artists like that? You said X-Men 1 was good just because it had onomatopoeia in the art.
Drawn onomatopoeia. Well, you need a,
the
artists can be lazy these days and not make their own sound effects. Yeah.
John Severin, where are you when we need you?
I thought the Dan Mora art was great. I thought the first issue of Absolute Power was really decent. It's a good jump-on spot for a new reader. It's got good pacing, good building action, and I was entertained and I was satisfied with it. You didn't have to know all this encyclopedic knowledge leading up into this issue number 1. And it's a well-designed comic book. You know what I mean? All things aside.
Is really decent, though, what you want people saying about your big summer event that's going to include Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and relaunch the Justice League?
Like
at this point, if DC's just lucky to have something that doesn't suck.
Yeah, I mean, we just came out of Night Terrors, and we just came out of Gotham Born, and we just came out of, how many events have we had? I mean, I got event fatigue. What about you?
Well, Blood Hunt is on issue number
Blood
40
Hunt.
right now.
Oh,
So we're 40 issues into Blood Hunt, and then we got 40 issues of Venom War coming up.
There are 38 tie-ins to Absolute Justice. It's going to be over $150. If you're into that, getting them all. You got to catch them all.
I don't know. Back in the day, Uel, that used to be like the big thing. Was everything ties in, and it encourages people to jump in and explore books that they weren't normally reading. But now it does feel like with the cynical nature regarding the quality and everything, that people are like, well, why do it if it's going to be 60 issues? It feels like it'll be too big.
I'm going to introduce you to a little series in the 90s called Millennium that DC put out. And you don't read it.
No.
I will say this. It used to be
happened before.
You would do these events, and they would be spaced far enough apart that people could kind of like really build to them instead of just always having to react. So, on a regular run of a title, even if you knew like, okay, you're reading Cloak and Dagger and this one issue crosses over with Inferno, you were able to kind of like set it up. And now everything feels like an interruption because it is just a marketing ploy now to get you to buy more books. And they don't care if you buy any after that. It's just they're only focused on the one thing until they move on to the next event, which is the next thing. They're not thing. Now I will tell you, when I was buying X-Men and I was all into Inferno, I was like, I'm going to get every crossover. I want to read every piece of this story. It got me reading Cloak and Dagger. It got me picking up Power Pack. I wasn't buying those titles until then. Well, I was buying Cloak and Dagger, but I wasn't buying like Power Pack. And then I was like, and I started picking up back issues of Power Pack to find out, who these characters were. And then I started reading that book because it used to be an effective tool, because they used to be looking at the long-term growth of all of these books. There's none of that anymore. Jim Lee doesn't even pay attention to what the line is. We know that. We know he's just asleep at the wheel. Nobody cares about the long-term growth of the industry. They're just there for that short-term game. That's all that they can look at. And unfortunately, that's what's hurting the retailers.
And who wants to get stuck with a bunch of issues that don't matter? All these stories that don't matter. I learned my lesson with Countdown to Final Crisis. I got every single issue, every single tie-in. And
we all do it eventually.
They're worthless to the story. I mean, the only thing that mattered was Final Crisis, like 0 through 7. And that's it. And everything other. I got 70 issues of useless story taking up my short boxes back there. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this? It takes up space. Who's going to want this? Can I unload this somewhere? I don't think I can.
You realize after 1 or 2, maybe 3 of these events that you're just being bamboozled, and you stop going in on them because there's all those tie-in things that you think are making the story richer, or that they've convinced you make the story richer. They don't, because they don't actually, none of them matter. There's
doesn't stick in your brain.
It doesn't stick in your brain. There's no real consequences to them in the ongoing book. There's nothing about the ongoing book that's ever really even handled in these miniseries. So if you do start to pick up, if you were to pick up the ASM tie-in to whatever, or the Batman tie-in to Absolute Power, and then you'd go and pick up Batman, there's no connection to Absolute Power in Batman. You're just like, what the fuck did I spend my money? Yeah, but none of the things that happen in, say, that tie-in miniseries are ever referenced in the main series. So you're like, and if it is, all they're doing is they just redo the same thing in that main series.
They're doing the Bendis thing where every event leads to the next event, where Dark Crisis on the Infinite Earths, kind of sets up Absolute Power. DC Night Terrors kind of sets it up. the House of Brainiac kind of sets it up. You're like, well, you only did the events to set up the other event.
Yeah,
No, I feel stupid.
The same way that Absolute Carnage was just the setup for King in Black.
Yeah,
and even then, if you're doing these events, if they're connected to a story in any ongoing book, then you just end up taking the payoff for whatever you're writing in those ongoings out of the ongoing and make it its own miniseries. And people lose interest in following the main book now.
What are the impact of any of these events? Like, can you guys tell me what Hallows Eve accomplished? Like, what are the ramifications still going on in the books today because of that event? What are the ramifications going on because of what was it, infestation or outbreak or pandemic or whatever the hell that was, that mini thing was, or dark web? Yeah, of these.
Dark web. Like, I forgot all about that, man.
Yeah, what's the impact? Empire? Do you remember that? What is the impact of
with
that?
a Y? Empire with a Y?
The thing has two kids. The thing has two children. Is the big impact.
The Skrulls are good guys in that, I think.
What was the impact of Krakoa aside from ruining the X-Men for apparently all time?
Not all time.
That wasn't an event. That was just a line. So the other thing I want to talk about, and this isn't absolute power, Yule, but I do want to.
I'm sorry, Ten of Swords, or how about any of those things that came out of it? Like any of those. What's the impact? What does it matter?
Nothing. So Yule, we do have Blood Hunt going on right now, and the sales data that we do have indicates that the red band interior variant versions of the comics are selling better than the A versions, the regular ones. And it appears that it's been very, very successful. Is that something that you noticed?
I keep selling out of those red bands, and I keep selling out of we're only talking about Blood Hunt, proper. I'm selling out of both of them. I get reorders in, and then I sell, 2, 3, and 4, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I gotta say, Marvel with their over shipping, because back in the day we would complain about the over shipping. It really wasn't the worst thing in the world, but it was always titles that about.
Yeah, they overship Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel,
and they would do it.
Christina Grace's Iceman,
and it would cost in shipping. But see now, Marvel, I got the Blood Hunt poster early. I got people into it. They gave me extra copies. I've been selling 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and I still have number ones available that I never even purchased. This is great. This week, you're going to see Phoenix. Well, if Stephanie Phillips can pull one out, I'm going to be a very happy man getting all these extra Phoenix books. But at least they're doing something to try and promote the book that they're selling. Absolute Power, not so much. What was your question, Liz?
So with the variant interiors, and the fact that they're being successful and popular, that's going to encourage Marvel to do this more, which will encourage DC to start doing it, and which will encourage all the indie books to do it. And in 5 years, we're going to be having an entire panel talking about how interior variants are the worst thing to happen in comic books since interior covers. But everybody's jumped in on it. I'm just saying it's Pandora's box, is what I'm saying.
It's all my fault. I know.
Well, everybody, the last 40,000 people still buying comic books.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing a ton of people buying both, and some people just buy the series. So Blood Hunt without the bag is selling. Blood Hunt with the bag is selling. I'm looking forward to seeing how this works with the Wolverine that Hickman and Capullo are doing. 2 really good names, and it shouldn't be a problem selling one or the other. But they then have variants and incentive ratios for these bagged ones, and it's coming. No, it's not coming. It came already.
Yeah, but like that was exactly what I warned when they announced the red bands at all. You're going to end up the same. Now it'll be the red band ratio.
I can't order everything. I gotta just the customers. If you're a customer and you want one, you gotta let your store know that you want it. That's the important thing.
And look, I look at these similar to the way I looked at because this is actually the second time Marvel has done interior variants. They did it in the 90s with the regular editions and deluxe editions. And the deluxe editions cost 25 or 50 cents, or no, it was 20 cents more. The regular, or maybe 45 cents, something like that. But it was like $1.50 to $1.95 for the deluxe, and you got the higher glossy paper instead of the kind of sort of newsprint that they were using back there that wasn't exactly newsprint anymore. And now Marvel at the time they looked at it kind of the same way they looked at the price variance in the 70s, whenever they do the 25 cents and then they do 30 cents in one market. It was a test to see if they could charge more without any impact on the price, or on market price impact on the sales. And so most people bought the deluxe edition because, well, it was only 20 cents more or 30 cents more. And when you're dealing with sub $2 product, that's one thing. Now they're going $1 more. Plus they're adding in, and there wasn't variants at the time. There was 2 variants on X-Men and Uncanny X-Men, or no, 1 variant. And it was just a random, like 1 month they did a 1 in 4 variant that nobody even knew about. Like they just showed up at the store. So they've done this before, but what they did was they dropped the old version at the old price point, and the only thing they made. So now are they going to go to only red band? No, they're not going to. This time
they
around,
are doing a red band like line of comic books.
Werewolf by Night is going to be, and I think that's red band only. I think I can be wrong, but
do you think that the collection, the trade paperback of Blood Hunt, they're going to have 2 editions, a red band?
Here's one for you. The DC trades are getting variant. They have variant covers on those now. There's the Wonder Woman that came out. It's got a Daniel Sampere cover and an Archer cover.
Well, Marvel has been doing variants on their omnibuses for a long time.
They do that. You're right. That's true.
There's 2 covers for most of their omnibuses.
Yeah, there's one
now
that goes to direct market, and then one that goes out to retail.
So, there's those already exist. I mean, I'm not really fucking surprised by that shit. Because they're just copying Marvel's homework. But you're going to end up seeing this continue to expand. And I blame the publishers for opening this door in the first place, but I especially blame readers for supporting it. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I'd let you down.
And here's the thing. I blame readers because they're unable to. They have no self-control. We don't.
I don't.
We don't have self-control. And if there's
so you're blaming yourself. Too,
I am.
Right?
100%.
I totally agree. Because when I'm talking shit about customers at conventions, I'm one also, at that time.
Exactly. I mean, I blame myself. I blame myself for being the completist that I was on, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whenever they, remember in the almost 20 years ago when they didn't have any variants, and then they started doing, instead of variants, that it would be the same one, the same cover or a slightly different cover, and it would just be special edition. They didn't call it variants. They called them special editions. And they kind of treated them like second prints because Marvel was in the print to order phase the same way that DC is now. And they didn't have, overruns. There was no extra at the warehouse. They printed to order. And then when it sold out, it sold out. And they would do the special edition like a second print. It was kind of half second print, half variant. And people started buying those up, especially. I remember the Astonishing X-Men with Cassaday and Whedon. They had a lot of those. And then they would do, the incentives were for just issue 1. That was the only time that there was but people like me stupidly bought them and made a big deal about them and helped them gain secondary market demand and increase prices. And then we've seen it just continue to fucking snowball since then. And Marvel completely unable to control themselves because they'll just keep feeding that fucking monster. The problem is the monster is now like on an episode of My 600-Pound Life and about to have a fucking cardiac arrest. And then they're going to wonder, where did the monster go?
I did, but then Scotty Young came back, and now he's doing all those cute covers again.
Yeah.
Isn't it the nature, though? Honestly, if we're being completely honest, isn't it the nature of humanity that we're all hypocrites about something? Like none of us ever really truly lives up to all of our values. Like, you know, we say like, this is what I believe, unless it gets in the way of something we want.
I say there's always an exception to a rule, man.
That's exactly right. There's always an exception to a rule. So, you know, it's that's why people are like, oh, you guys are being hypocritical. It's like, well, yeah, so are you about everything every day. Like, you know, like that's just human nature. We're all going to be.
But Sully is the face of fucking red band comic books, and the reason the industry is going to die because of it.
I will say this about Sully. Sully
I'll
makes no apologies for. He is unapologetically who he is.
I am going to buy that Peach Momoko variant cover every time you put it in front of my face. Ask Uel. He's my dealer. He gets me those Peach Momoko covers, and they're all over my spinner rack.
I have a customer. He loves Peach, but when it came down to either Peach Momoko or Alex Ross, I found out Alex wins out every single time.
There you go. Very nice.
I love that about the comic store, though, and sometimes you can only find these things out with variant covers. It is a part of the industry, unfortunately. Now, you know, I was saying, oh, Gil Kane should be on those covers, and he would be the only person doing covers for Marvel that month. There wasn't another cover to get. It's like that was Marvel. You know, these John Romita covers. It's Marvel, and it's a shame. I mean, it's nice a John Tyler Christopher cover or a Scott Koblish wraparound or whatever the hell is going on right now to get those. But it's a shame that we can't revel in the person that's setting. What happened to Jose Luis Garcia Lopez? If it wasn't for him, DC wouldn't have had a look for 30 fucking years, you know?
My goodness, you did that while I was taking a drink of water.
Sorry,
Let's
man.
talk to some people. As Mr. DC Comics says, would event books from Marvel and DC do better if they just sold the entire story in one absolute edition instead of having separate issues over time?
No.
Comic shops need those issues. They make a lot of money from those issues, and you get more of a.
Plus,
it's
in theory, you're leading up to it,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think not everything needs a trade. Like they need to go back to, you know, only deserving stories being put out in trades. But
it would be nice every once in a while. Like, hey, this is the thing, and these are all the issues that you want to buy afterwards, maybe that like fall out from something really important. It would have just been like an 80-page preview into something else, or, you know, like you were saying, Sully, countdown to whatever, infinity something.
Countdown to bankruptcy.
That's right.
I do think there are plenty of stories out there that they are releasing in singles that would be more effective and perhaps even more popular if they only came out in trades, because they are kind of standalone stories. They don't really affect the overall outcome of the character and all that stuff, and like don't really fit within serialized storytelling. But in theory, the event should be something that's been led up to and is like the culmination of something that you should be getting into. But I don't think if they did Absolute Power and just released it as an omnibus on day one, I don't think anybody would read it because they wouldn't be invested.
Yeah, no.
But they're not invested in the single issues either.
Yeah, but they are invested in the collecting aspect of it, which you know, you might spend as much as you do on an omnibus and not realize it because it took you 3 months to get there. Right? Maybe.
I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Brad Frederick, you are on the front line, sir. Boots on the ground. How did Absolute Power sell at your store?
Well, I think I pretty much answered that. It did well. The main series, the tie-in. I mean, I still have a week to. I still have the rest of this week to sell Absolute Power. What was it? 7? Task Force 7. But I don't hold out a whole lot of hope, and I think I'm going to start decreasing my normal numbers for the offshoot series and possibly increase the Absolute Power mini-series numbers just a little bit since I'm reordering.
Because you base your orders on the interest going into it, which did feel lacking, but people came in the week
of
of
times
and
it's my
supported it.
interest. You know,
Yeah.
I gotta.
Oh, yeah?
This is in
You
the
get personal?
slam. I want you to know this is not a slam about you or anybody else that makes videos. But if I pay attention to what you or other people are saying a lot, it can affect me negatively, especially if I see, oh, this last thing didn't do very well and these guys are talking shit about it. And it's kind of like, I don't want to get stuck with them. So I'll adjust my numbers sometimes. Sometimes
Oh man,
I adjust my numbers
and be like, listen,
incorrectly.
well, you gotta ignore everything I said there, man. You gotta think about it from a business perspective. I'm thinking about it from
It's
a
not
fan
just you, it's Lane and Callum talking shit about Red Band stuff. And I'm like, these aren't even my fucking customers. What do I care? I lost money on Red Band.
Those are selling
I
on
should have got
eBay for
hot and
$300.
heavy on that.
Clearly, yeah.
But yeah, it's doing well.
People did end up showing up despite, because it wasn't just you. We had the dudes from like Big Bang Comics were saying, hey, I'm getting less pre-orders for this than I have for Wonder Woman right now, which
exactly,
doesn't make a lot of
agree.
sense.
I mean, and again, aren't they like in Ireland or something like that? You don't
Yes.
even fucking sell shit. Who cares?
Mhm. But there was certainly lots of stuff. And like I said, the numbers themselves that we do have, which, are great, do show that it certainly underperformed what you would have expected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gallup says Zach did an impression of Vita, Danny, Gay, and many others going, tummy grow, need money. Whoa, no money. What the what?
I think it's Gay DeLorean.
Yeah, that's
Is
her
it
Twitter
Gay
handle.
DeLorean?
Yeah, she still
that's
thinks that is really clever.
Yes.
It is clever when you're like, I have no money or food for my family this week. Can you hit the coffee up? Well, I don't know.
Get a job.
That's like a bi-weekly thing. Like, oh, it's
get a
really
job
tough Saturday. I'm like, as opposed to the other really tough Saturday,
I can tell you this right now. Within the last week or so, compared to Max Asagio, Danny Gay DeLorean is absolute must support on Twitter as far as your eyeballs go. Oh God, the Max stuff is like
I
I
am happily
no. Don't even why rough.
There's this weird thing. Like, there's this weird thing. Maybe it's just. I think there's this whole like generation that was raised on social media, and they just put out the most private shit for public consumption, and it's just like, what are you doing? Stop it.
When I got a splitter in my hand, it's none of your business.
Most of us Gen Xers understood that was called evidence. And so we didn't post it. We didn't even take photographs of it because that could be used against us in a court of law later.
It's true. Calb says, what impact did making mechanically straight characters gay at the last minute like Black Cat and Psylocke do? And Mystique growing you know what?
It caused people to stop buying.
Yeah, it damaged their overall marketability.
Yeah, probably. Have you seen an impact on Black Cat, Uel?
No. That shit's never going to sell anyway.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean,
didn't Black Cat #1 like bounce into the top 5 like 3 years ago?
not in my store.
It had J. Scott Campbell covers.
Yeah.
Oh, look, those did well.
Yeah, J. Scott Campbell drawing the Black Cat is always going to sell.
Yeah.
Black Cat
like
stories, not so much.
Yeah, if you would have put any other standard Marvel artist on those covers, and they put him on the A covers for the first 3 or 4 issues of Black Cat. That's the only reason it moved. And that the minute those J. Scott Campbell covers stopped being on the title, everyone dropped it.
So you tell me
didn't
J.
make it
Scott
enough-
Campbell's the reason that we've got mediocre Jeb McKay on fucking X-Men and Avengers right now? Because he pumped the numbers up on Black Cat?
Well, you could
Ugh.
honestly make that argument. Yes.
Nice going, J. Scott. We got a very mediocre X-Men book because of you.
Way to go.
Yeah, you're almost as culpable as Sully.
Your 1 in
Right.
100 Psylocke has a really nice butt, but you're ruining comics.
That's right.
You know what? This was a bad comic book last week, Yule. It was X-Men Blood Hunt Psylocke #1.
Ooh,
It is
that's too
a
bad.
terrible read. It was not a good comic book. But whoever the artist is, and I'd never seen her before, she was phenomenal. That was one of the
Oh.
sexiest Psylocks I've ever seen.
Nice.
She
All
looks
right,
so
I'll
good.
check it out. At least for that.
Just look at. Don't read the story. Just look at the picture.
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that at all.
Definitely better than the statement.
I think that there needs to be an acceptance among readers that the more like hyphens and colons there
Yes.
are in a title, the worse it's about to be.
No, yeah.
I'm the titles are getting so
Long.
ridiculously out of hand you can't even say them. But the artist's name is, oh my goodness, where is it? It is, where is the artist?
You might need a Google Translate.
Lin Yoshi.
Hmm.
I don't know who she is. She's a fantastic artist and she makes women look beautiful. So there you go. But yes, the bigger the title name, the more ridiculous it gets. Orthworm Jeb, thank you so much for the support of the channel. You don't have a question here. I did reach out and he said, no, he just wanted support. And we definitely appreciate you supporting the channel, sir. I hope you are enjoying the program and the discussion about Absolute Power. But we are not done covering the Absolute Power DC stuff because we did get leaked out the Absolute Universe talent roster. We knew that Scott Snyder was going to be leading it. Rumors were prevalent, not only for myself, but other sources out there that Jason Aaron was going to be on it. And then I had said that Al Ewing was going to be there. And then I believe it's Bleeding Cool said it was going to be Kelly Thompson. They're all on this one. As far as talent rosters go, there's a few names that stand out. I imagine the Nick Dragotta, Scott Snyder Batman is guaranteed seller.
Oh, I can't wait to see Nick Dragotta on art. I like his stuff a lot. And
He's awesome.
Scott Snyder, he's doing Batman again.
It's a new take
Except for
on
it's
Batman.
not Batman.
No. Yeah, but even still, he's doing Batman again. Like
He said Last Night on Earth was his last Batman story ever. But I guess that was in continuity and not Absolute Universe Batman.
Right. This is
The-
Ozzy Osbourne's last tour.
the person that I'm interested in coming back to DC is actually Jeff Lemire because he was kind of like, peace out. I'm not going to be working for these people. He didn't say again, but here he is coming back. But yeah, Scott Snyder on Batman, but Nick Dragotta, good artist, very good. Worked on Jonathan Hickman's East of West. That's a good series. I sell that a lot. And
Yeah, he's done a lot of great
yeah,
work.
I dig him. Yeah, I like his kind. He has a, a lot of times like when if I'm reading manga, very rarely, but they'll have like certain artistic styles. And I'm not just talking about the big heads, but certain people, they just kind of like do this nosy kind of thing. Akiya Asamiya, I remember when they did the X-Men, and he has Nick Dragotta does something with his nose also, but I dig it. And yeah, good art.
Should be pretty exciting stuff. I imagine that. Do you think that'll sell as well as Ultimate Spider-Man?
I am more inclined to order heavier on this one than I kind of fucked up. I think everybody fucked up on Ultimate Spider-Man. I kept my numbers like Hickman numbers, but what I needed to do was bump
Hickman on Spider-Man numbers.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like everybody's like talking bad about Gods. I'm selling it very well, even the $10 issue. I'm selling all his other stuff in high numbers, but when Ultimate Spider-Man came out, I'm like, well, I'm getting all these variants. I got a lot of issues that I'm buying, but I could have easily doubled that and been making some really great money. So I think I'm going to probably do that with the Batman. That's how I'm looking at it, for sure.
So you're excited for the Absolute Universe, which I imagine they're going to finally reveal at San Diego Comic-Con and what everyone's going to be on, and just a different flavor of DC comic.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron's right. They need to fix their own stuff up, and the regular stuff right now, and it's not that way. If they said, screw this other stuff, we're only going to do absolute, I'd be a lot more excited about this thing. If they did anything that was like, we're going to do something cohesive, I'd be a lot more excited. An Elseworlds title, which is basically what this is, I don't care. It's like Ultimates,
Yep.
It's an Elseworlds, it's a What If series. And What If can be good, Elseworlds can be good, but the reason why we like these things is because we want something significant to happen to these characters that couldn't happen because they're IPs and they have to stick around.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not unlike gimmicked events. Elseworlds and What Ifs are probably the first version of variants in comic books then, but we flock to them. So what are you going to do?
And
I think Batman's going to be good.
We'll see. Scott Snyder's
Selling.
Batman. I mean, even then, his Batman stuff kind of started waning off. Like, what was the Last Night on Earth? It didn't sell as well as, it's been
but that was a weird mini series anyway, and it was during the pandemic or just after.
I think it was before, wasn't it?
Last Man, the one with the Joker in the head thing.
Yeah,
I think that was pandemic-y time.
Do we think this is going to be much different though? I mean, in terms of, I feel like he's going to try to make it different. I feel like his whole purpose is he's going to try to make it different, so he can say it's different from his normal run.
So it's going to be a poor Batman. You've heard this, right?
No,
it's just the most basic bit kind of things. Like, well, what do you do? Just do the opposite. So instead of he's rich, he's poor. Instead of this, instead of
But it's also like the fourth or fifth time they've done poor Batman, poor Bruce Wayne within the past 10 years. And I would also say, keep in mind, a lot of your Spider-Man sales were also people probably coming back to Spider-Man because he was with Mary Jane again. Like it's one of the things people have been wanting to see from the character. We don't know if we're getting that we're not getting a quote unquote true depiction of Batman. I don't think it's gonna hit like they want it to.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Scott Snyder is played out. I mean, what is he? There's that meme that you see going around where it's just like all these companies, and it's the Grim Reaper going door to door, and then like blood running out from under each door that he's been to, and the Grim Reaper is Scott Snyder, and each door is a different comic book company that he's gone and done stuff for. I don't think that his name moves the needle anymore.
Yeah,
I thought it was a real brief window.
I'm hoping. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that he working on Batman will come up with a positive story, a good story, something that they're going to lead with their best, foot forward. They got a good artist. I'm sure there'll be a shit ton of covers and all sorts of reasons to buy multiples. But as far as a book selling, I think this will probably do pretty well, regardless of. See, I think there is really only one writing star in comics, and that's Jonathan Hickman. Maybe Daniel Warren Johnson, but he's usually doing his own artwork. Mm-hmm. And like if he came on and was writing one of these DC books but wasn't going to lend his artwork on it, I don't know if people would be as excited. He's writing Transformers. People are excited for Transformers. They also like his work on that. So the question is, like, away from a franchise as powerful as Transformers or a Batman, Scott Snyder, can you do it? Can you do it? But yeah, I think Scott Snyder is a pretty good pick. I saw people saying Jonathan Hickman. That would have been.
Look, I will agree with you. If DC were going to make a decision to try to get sales, I think Scott Snyder is the safest bet. But I don't think it's going to have the same impact that Ultimates had, and I don't think it's going to have the impact that DC's hoping it's going to have. That's all I'm saying. It's going to sell well. It's going to be up there. Like to me, there's no doubt. But I just don't think it's going to deliver the way they're hoping it will.
No.
Well, I haven't heard that they're going to do. So what DC a lot of times used to do, and they haven't done it for a while, for a few years now, is they'll have returnability on the first 3 issues. So if they want to make sure that this thing really sells well, at least as far as the initial number is concerned, they will make the first 3 issues returnable yet again. If they really believe in it, that's what they'll do. And since we're talking about absolute power sucking as far as overall sales is concerned, they're going to have to do something like that. They can't just put, if Scott Snyder is your lead writer, oof.
I mean, I think there's a kiss of death on this already, and his name's Dennis Camp. I mean, this guy, the activism forward shit. Yep. I mean, seriously. One, he showed up on Mark Miller's show, then that comic book roundtable wearing one of those Middle Eastern scarves. That's a effing statement in this day and age. So I got a lens on this guy now. Then I read Ultimates #2, and I was like, oh my God, this guy is just all this activist trash and an escapism. No, thank you. So what book is this guy getting, and when can I burn it?
Why is it
comments?
Do you know what Dennis Camp's doing, or no?
Just Ultimates, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what he's doing now.
I think I froze. Josh, did you read Ultimates too?
No, I stopped after Ultimates 1. That was good.
Enough.
Yeah,
good call.
No, I think I don't think anybody at this point knows what Dennis Camp's doing on Absolute Comics.
Why is Pornsack there?
Because
I like him though. He's okay.
Because of the name.
It's a great name.
Pornsack Pishotstot.
No, Andy, I don't want your giant sack of porn.
So I love how when they're talking about it, what was it, a beat or bleeding coal? They're talking about the different writers, and when they get to him, they only talk about his Image books, not his DC comics that he's done. You know, it's like, what the hell, man? He's done DC comics. Can't you lead with that? Stupid.
Is it worth even mentioning his DC
Dead Boy
comics?
Detectives was actually quite good if you enjoy Sandman universe type books. And he's mostly a horror writer. So, you know, maybe they'll be doing Absolute Hellblazer. That might be cool.
Absolute.
That'd be cool.
JLD?
He did a Man's Best on Boom Studios. This is a 5-issue mini that was really interesting. And I really like that. So he could actually... He's got some
He's an interesting name. He's not going to be like, he'll be lumped in with the Dennis Camp, but I think Pornsack is a pretty good writer. Something that I would be interested in at least seeing what he's going to do. Maybe it's I'm down.
That's the big name that you were checking out?
No, it's Jeff Lemire, I think, coming back to DC is the thing.
Same.
There we go. You're not excited for Jason Aaron on Ultimate Spider-Man or Superman?
Yeah, I mean, so you know the thing about Jason Aaron, I think he writes a very good word on the page. He doesn't always do a really great story, but if I can just pay attention to the one comic book or the one scene, a lot of times he still does very good work. Even in that Avengers run, there's some really good work. But man, if he's just let to do anything he wants, I'm not sure if I'm going to be that excited.
Well, the good thing is it's not the real Superman, so I guess he can destroy the character and it won't.
It's Elseworlds, exactly.
Yeah. Is it Elseworlds?
So when Jason
we had
Aaron,
Elseworlds now.
You weren't here when I did that.
when Jason Aaron does Jason Aaron things, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
His Offworld's good. I'm really enjoying that one. But did you read the new Elseworlds? Batman Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age?
I read the first issue. I liked it a lot. I can't believe I liked it a lot.
I can't believe you did either.
I like Andy Diggle, and I like that Leandro Romero art a lot too.
I like Andy Diggle as well. I think it's Leandro Fernandez.
Oh, Fernandez. I'm sorry. Wrong guy.
It looks right. It looks like it's in the right time and everything, but I was like, that's not really a Batman story.
No, not at all. I mean, it kind of is. It's setting stuff.
It's more of a Batman story in the second issue, but I found that one be even more superfluous. It's just a bunch of cameos of every DC hero that you've ever liked is alive in.
Oh, so it's Marvel 1602 is what it is.
Yes.
Okay.
What it turned into.
Going back to Neil Gaiman there.
The first issue I thought was perfectly average and fine, and the second one I thought was a bigger disappointment.
I think I liked it because there was so little Batman, actually.
Oh yeah, you're the guy that hates Batman. You were taking a year
I don't
off of
hate
Batman.
him, but it's called the Kryptonian age too. It's like that's having your cake and eating it too. That's the definition right there.
I just hate the names.
Yeah.
Batman, Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age.
So,
yeah.
Once again, proving my point about the more suffixes in a fucking title, the worse it is.
Why is it Batman, the Long Halloween, the Last Halloween? Why can't it just be Batman, the Last Halloween? I think we'll all get that it's tied into the Long Halloween.
It's way better. That's way better.
Listen, speak for yourselves, but I am upset that it's not Batman, Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age, Alpha #1.
That's only if they're going to have an
Catwoman
Omega.
Alpha.
So how dare you?
Need the Omega.
Well, this is like my joke about I wish that someone would greenlight my script for get into Harrison Ford's hands so that we could do Air Force 1, 2, Air Forcer. That's how these titles feel, and then you've got the kind of the way that they're copying manga with like the longer titles, like Something is Killing the Children, or we only find them when they're dead.
The Long Walk to Love in the Bowels of Hell. Like
because manga was doing the thing where it's like I sold my soul to Cthulhu and now my girlfriend is a slime, or whatever it is that they're doing. Those long.
I bet you it reads shorter in Japanese.
It probably because it's just a couple of kanji.
Because there are words here in Tagalog that mean something that there is no word for in English, and you would have to say like 5 words just to get it out. Like if I said doklot, you wouldn't realize I was saying I just jabbed myself in the eye. There's a word for that.
There's one word that happens enough in the Philippines that there's just a word for the actual act.
Yes, I like it. If you jab yourself in the eye, you got a doklot. But if you said it in English, damn it, I just jabbed myself in the eye. So I imagine in Japanese it's got to be shorter. Maybe a character means 3 of those words or something. Better come up with something shorter. But as far as the Elseworld stuff, Uel, I don't know what you've done, but I think Batman the Barbarian by Greg Smallwood is going to be good.
Cool. All right. I like Greg Smallwood a lot. Good artist.
Is he a good writer though? Because he's writing it. That's my only question.
Doesn't matter.
I'm going to support him for being one of the only people to have the courage to come out against Alex DeCampi and the mob that.
Did he come out specifically against them, or was he just very supportive of people not being jerks?
He didn't specifically say names, but he said, if you were one of the people that Ed Piskor named in his suicide note, I will not work with you until the day that you come out and you take culpability for it, basically, and apologize. Like I will not only not work with you, I will endeavor to make sure that you don't work for the company that I'm working for. It was kind of like the overall sentiment, if I'm not mistaken.
All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I don't have good feelings about this new Elseworlds line.
Yeah.
Well, we've got like 3 freaking Elseworlds lines, right? You have Elseworlds, you have Black Label. We're getting absolute whatever the
universe.
Is. Yeah. I can't. My head hurts.
It gets confusing after a while.
Man, DC. Oh, man.
Well, we're going to need another fucking crisis.
we are.
And then if you look at the latest 2 Black Label books, you've got The Boy Wonder from Junie Ba, which almost reads more like a juvenile graphic novel that's aimed for kids to introduce you to the characters. And then you had, what was it? The lady that likes to do magic, Zatanna.
Zatanna. Yeah,
that book of hers from
Mariko Tamaki.
Yep,
and maybe that's
that one didn't read like a superhero book at all. That was just a slice of life book.
Yeah,
can that be the title of the? Can that be the title of the book though, Wes? The lady who likes to do magic.
The lady that likes to do magic.
That's the very
Alpha.
Only if James Tynion's writing it.
So I don't even know what Black Label is anymore. Is it an adult spin on?
Hopefully, it's defunct. That's what I want.
Yeah,
defunct. Be defunct.
It's Vertigo 2.0.
You can't decide if you're a magazine or a comic book. Stop it now.
It was in
done
trouble
with
the
you.
moment they said, like, this is going to be the place where we showcase the very best talent at DC and Kelly Sue DeConnick.
And they led
And
with
John
Brian
Ridley.
Azzarello.
Oh, yeah, and John Ridley, yeah.
Yep.
Come on, you got the Bat Dog. Holy flagpole, Batman.
That book, while not being a great story, is one of the best illustrated Batman books you'll ever see by Lee Bermejo. Like,
Yeah, he's great.
He's insanely talented.
yeah.
And is such a nice guy too.
He's not a jerk off.
No,
He's not an Aaron Sparrow.
but look, there's probably a reason why he chooses
I
to
am just
live.
I am just a jerk. I have not graduated to jerk off yet. Just a jerk.
I understand why he chooses to live in Italy and keep himself secluded from everyone else in comics. Because,
He's like, I ain't being around these fucking assholes.
yeah.
There's Italians making comics that aren't just him.
I believe Marco Cicchetto is Italian.
Yes, I know. Just
Marco Cicchetto.
Aurelio Mazzara, who's doing Unholy Nightmare and with True and Brotherhood of the Wolf with me and with Wes Azadani.
I thought you were about to say Wes. I was like, I don't know, man. What did I do on that book? I don't think I could.
Wes, you were really drunk and you hit me up and you were like, I got this script, man.
I need a credit. Just throw my name on it. So yeah, come up with the damn thing. Like Justine Ireland on Spider-Man. That'd be kind of weird.
Or Ben Affleck on Good Will Hunting. Just put my name on there.
Oh,
Nice.
So Josh, you used to work at BatmanNews.com. You're a DC fanatic. You're more of a DC guy than a Marvel guy. You've been checked out a little bit, I think, to say the least, on the DC and continuity stuff. Is an absolute universe with your favorite heroes with a little different spin on them, maybe better creators on it. Is it something that can get you excited and fully invest into an alternate universe?
No, absolutely not. And look, I want to start off by saying I'm still reading, stuff from the big two. I'm picking up every #1 that comes out to give it a shot. I'm going to give it a fair shot. However, I'm not excited about this because I feel like everything that's going on in continuity feels like an Elseworld story. It doesn't feel like the characters to me. It doesn't feel like the stories that I should come to expect. With minor exceptions here and there. But overall, no, this isn't exciting me. It's more of a turnoff.
Yeah, but it's a smaller, more self-contained universe. You don't have to read 40 titles. You can only read 5 or 6.
It's still not, for me, it's still not Batman. When you got poor Bruce Wayne and we're going to make this change and make this change and make this change to make it interesting, I don't care. We've been getting multiple versions of Batman. We've been getting multiple like Elseworlds. And I get there's
I don't
other
understand
characters
how
too,
Batman
but-
and Dark Knight can happen in the same universe. It's two different characters.
Yep.
He's even got a new logo in Detective Comics.
Yeah, nope.
Are you still reading that one, please?
Nope.
I am.
It's not fair. I have to suffer this alone. Oh, man.
I'm with
I
you,
will-
Wes. Don't worry.
Listen, I will probably go back and catch up through trades. But right now I'm just no.
Don't catch up. You didn't.
Can
miss
someone
anything.
make a meme
The
where
glutton for punishment.
where Wes is like saying that he's the only person still reading these terrible comics, and then all of a sudden you've got Sully coming in like Captain America, going, "I'm with you to the end of the line."
On your left, Wes. On your left.
Well, it feels like it's Jim and I that are still suffering through all this bull crap, and everyone else is picking and choosing the stuff that is less offensive. It's not fair. You got
I'm sorry.
Docchio with Stolen
I'm sorry.
Valor.
Who's keeping all the super chats? You suffer for that, Art.
It is my business. It's small
True.
business. I'm an entrepreneur.
He's got to buy those
they make
chicken
it work
nuggies
my
somehow.
life.
Come on.
I'm
right.
sorry, Wes. I apologize for being smarter than you to get out when I could.
I don't know, man. How much money have you spent on your X-Men collection? Are we talking into the hundreds of thousands?
Well,
Pretty close.
maybe pushing 6 digits.
You spent maybe pushing 6 digits on X-Men. I've never done that. Are you really smarter than me? That's the question.
But Doc could turn around and flip those.
Could he?
can't.
More money than he paid. Yeah, because he's been doing it for so long. Like things have appreciated beyond what he paid for it.
Yes,
Well, don't hold
and-
on to him too long, buddy, because my buddy had a $250,000 Star Wars collection that he can't get $50,000 for anymore.
Yep.
I
killed the
understand that, but See, Star Wars has always been a TV and movie brand primarily. X-Men is not.
Claremont, Austin, Byrne. You don't get better than
You
that.
can still move
good.
those books will still sell. Even if modern, X-Men rots on a fucking shelf like it did during the entire Krakoan era. People
And it will
still,
again.
And it will
From
again.
the Ashes era.
With from the ashes to the shit pile. It will, I can still move copies of Byrne, Claremont X-Men.
But can you move copies of Chuck Austin X-Men?
You know what?
No,
If
we're
people,
just tossing those.
yeah, I mean, honestly, who cares?
You just sell it as a collection.
But you know
One of
what? But
his
it's now-
issues
but
is
now-
number 420, so you can
now
always
I
sell
would-
that one.
I would kill for Chuck Austin on X-Men.
I know. I
Stop
would.
that. No, you guys are bullshit.
I think there's a lot of us.
Bullshit.
Hey, if my
Chuck
choice,
Austin, Vita Ayala during the Krakow.
We went
she's
from
not
the
doing
promise. We went from the promise. It's kind of like House of X Powers of 10, but when Grant Morrison was on, I know some people aren't as into it, but when Grant Morrison was on, there was a lot of excitement. He was bridging the sides of the store, the alternative and the superhero. And we had new things. We had Joe on the other X-Men book, and this was some fun stuff. And then we went straight to Chuck Austin. That's still the biggest drop I've ever felt.
Oh, absolutely.
Biggest
But Joe left after like 8 issues.
No, he was there longer than that.
No, he only made it to. He came on at 390. He came on at 394, and he barely made it past 400.
All right, I'm gonna look, but I'm not gonna get hung up. I'm not gonna bring the show down for that.
You know what? So this is hanging
Bring
me
the show
up
down.
here.
Bring it down.
I'm so
Bring it down.
tired of Grant fucking Morrison being the guiding light of every major franchise. Go read Batman. It's just Grant Morrison inspired Batman. Go read this new X-Men from freaking Jed McKay. He just likes the Grant Morrison X-Men, new X-Men shit.
I see a lot of.
The dude is infecting everything. He's not that good.
You know what?
Wait, no, he is that good.
His Batman sucked. His Batman and Robin's fine.
No. What are you kidding me? The Black Glove is one of the greatest Batman stories ever.
But everybody's a Grant Morrison fan, and he informs everyone's takes on characters now.
I don't think everybody's a Grant. I've been many
Every
a
writer
time the sole. Oh, every writer. Well,
yes.
yeah, maybe so.
Not me.
16 issues.
16. Okay, very good. Well,
so what you're saying is Yule was right.
Hashtag.
No, well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm just saying he wasn't on there that
Doc
long.
was wrong. This is a moment.
Well, he wasn't on that long, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been a pretty Doc is wrong heavy episode. I mean, I'm still peeved about the Mark Waid comments. Like, how dare you trash, Archie like that? Come on.
Oh, his Archie, I thought was
it's actually pretty damn good.
Incredibly good because I didn't think it was going to be good at all.
Wes set the tone though for this show being about wrong opinions when he praised the Big Bang Theory.
Oh yeah,
I didn't say that on the show. That was in the green room. Why are you even bringing this up in front of people? You're trying to.
In fairness, we
did.
What happens
viewership?
in the green room stays in the green room.
Exactly.
Space.
So everybody, let us know your favorite Big Bang Theory character in
I
chat.
think the Big Bang Theory,
chick.
For the first 5 seasons is perfectly fine.
I will say this. The characters on the Big Bang Theory are the 4 pillars of AEW.
Wow. They're more muscular than the 4 pillars of AEW is what you mean.
They're the only reason that AEW has pops any kind of the rating.
Where's Sammy Guevara these days?
Where's anybody that Tony Khan has collected over this time? Like
Tony Khan is a wrestling genius that finally provided us an alternative to WWF, and you guys are still bitching about the guy.
No, I'm very happy that he took all the people that obviously weren't as good as I thought.
What are you talking about? John Moxley's still the best promo in all of wrestling.
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
Next, you're going to
Who's
say
better?
Next, you're going to say Moxley throws the best forearms.
He comes out, and the minute he picks up a microphone to talk, he starts bleeding. He's the new Ric Flair, is all he is, but not in
There's nothing wrong
promo.
with that. Ric Flair is the greatest promo of all times.
But not in promo. That's
Oh, come on. It's like AEW is perfectly fine. They have superior in-ring performance. You know, they don't have
That
to worry about
means
freaks.
nothing. That means nothing because there's no story behind it. There's no reason to be invested. You're just watching an acrobatics show. And as an acrobatics performance, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not everything has to be WWF.
It doesn't have to be WWF.
Paint by numbers. Yeah.
But it has to have some compelling reason for you to tune in week to week.
The Blackpool Combat Club, compelling reason to tune in every single week.
Yeah,
Claudio
Claudio Castagnoli's lighting it. How's
the
that Wheeler
Elite
Yuta
versus
doing?
the entire roster, a compelling reason to tune in every week.
The Elite. Yeah, I love watching 90-pound guys,
Yeah.
Where's that Action Andrade guy? Did we say him?
The Young Bucks are problematic.
Did you see Marco Stunt is back?
Oh, I
so
hate
excited.
that guy.
Special attraction.
I want to be in the ring and beat him up.
12-year-olds in the ring.
I forgot about the probably currently the second best promo in all of wrestling, MJF. Major attraction in AEW. Nobody at WWF has
can't mention
major attraction that can't pop a number anymore.
I don't think he's really all that good at all. How you like
he
that?
made CM Punk relevant again.
No.
CM Punk made him a star.
relevant.
Oh, you guys are so
In
backwards.
fact, the last time they had a high rating, which wasn't as high as they normally would like, was when they showed that footage of CM Punk, who's been out of their company like a year, beating up frickin' what's his name? Who cares?
Yeah, beating up Jack Perry.
Jungle Jack.
Look, MJF is back and he's not popping a number. He's not a draw. And the problem isn't MJF because MJF is spectacular. The problem is AEW and Tony Khan. It's just not a good promotion. There's nothing there to get invested in. And every time Tony Khan comes out and is on camera, every time he runs his mouth on Twitter, he turns people off because he's an idiot.
Super Mastermind said RoboCop did WWF once. No, he didn't. He was in the WCW.
Come
on.
He saved Sting.
Up until
it's like saying Chucky was in WWF. No, he was with Scott Snyder or Scott.
No,
Scott
Rick Steiner. He was challenging Rick Steiner.
And up until the next time,
Chucky?
That RoboCop is the worst thing I've ever seen. Even the Chucky's better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we accidentally got into the wrestling aficionados, but these guys wouldn't know a good.
They didn't
wrestling
care.
sport.
Nobody said nothing about Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory is a perfectly good show,
but they are all talking about wrestling.
I don't know. Well, somebody said that was a stupid error thing. I don't know how I got suckered into this. Does anyone else have anything to say about the talent level on DC Absolute Universe? Or are we wrapping this bad boy up?
I mean, Kelly Thompson.
It happens. Cal says, I read that Zatanna, and of course, there's a pride flag. These people are so boring.
They're just predictable.
The art in that Zatanna book is actually pretty good. That's the only thing.
Good covers, too.
Yeah.
Very nice covers.
The story itself is like watching paint dry. There's nothing to it. It's just a weird slice of life story.
Wes, what book was that Lin Yoshi Psylocke cover on that you were talking about?
X-Men Blood Hunt Psylocke #1. I don't know if she's a cover artist, but she was the interior artist, and she draws a beautiful looking Psylocke. And I hope that she ends up on a Psylocke miniseries that isn't Blood Hunt related and good. That maybe she rates. Because it's Steve Fox, so it reads just terrible.
Oh, yeah. Like, can they release an edition that doesn't have any of his dialogue, like where you just take all the word balloons?
That's what you need.
That would be a red band
edition.
That's
the new red band. Yeah, exactly.
That's what it should be.
Like, I want to purchase it.
I would love enough said editions of all of these modern. Anytime that there's a good artist, like, remember the Nuff Said month post 9/11. Everything was silent issues. Yeah, just do that all the time with all of these writers, and they actually might be able to sell comics again.
I will say, if you go and Google Lin Yoshi's name and look at some of the art, she's just a really good artist. So hopefully she gets some interior work on an actual good book sometime soon. let's get into our comic book recommendations, because I guess we're going to get through all the DC Absolute Power stuff. If you're like, God damn it, Wes, I wanted to hear about X-Men #1. Doc and I already reviewed the entire issue. It'll be out on Monday. And if you are following Thinking Critical on Patreon, Eric and I talked about X-Men #1 and at the top of the hour on the Hot or Not Comic Rundown. So we covered it quite a bit, and you'll have that full video up on Monday. You are the proprietor of a comic book shop. You've got the comings and goings. What are the comic books that you think people should have read this week?
Action Comics number 1067 is very good. Unfortunately, it is a Superman story in the past. It's written by Gail Simone with Eddie Barrows on art, and I really appreciate that it's not interior monologue in the caption boxes that Gail is writing. It's actually what's going on in the scene, and I dig it. And it was refreshing, and it's possibly the first Gail Simone comic book I've actually enjoyed. So,
in your life?
In my life. I think she's not a very good writer at all. And she's going to be doing X-Men soon. And
Uncanny
I'm
X-Men.
hoping that will be, Uncanny. So I'm hoping that's going to be good. And don't listen to these curmudgeons other than to give them views. X-Men #1 wasn't that bad at all. I thought it was
exactly.
A good
That's
setup.
the best description. Not that bad.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, so we have all the stuff that went on before, and it's not going to really address that. Although there are moments, they're still playing up the Cyclops saw heaven and had to let it go. Meanwhile, the team's doing their thing, and Beast is entertaining a government official, and we're finding out about their headquarters and stuff like that. I thought it was a really good. It was a strong issue, and it doesn't make me dislike it at all. I think it's very much in line with a classic X-Men story. You got people that distrust them for reasons, obviously, and they're trying to put a good face on it. They're in Alaska. Scott Summers being in Alaska is a thing that's happened in the past, back in the day. And then there's the whole Sentinel bit. I liked it. Good issue.
People distrust the X-Men just because they were racist mutant segregationists
and
trying to
dealers.
blackmail the entire world.
Let's just focus back on them being dirty mutants, muty scum. You know what I mean?
Muty scum.
Also, you'll want to address one thing you said.
Yeah.
Scott, I almost said Scott Steiner. Scott Summers has been romantically linked to both Jean Grey and Emma Frost. He's already seen heaven a couple of times, my friend.
And he's certainly been to Alaska because I think that's where he's from.
Yeah.
He grew up there. His grandparents lived
own a
there.
place there. Yeah. Also, I'm not completely done with it yet, but 1949 by Dustin Weaver came out a few weeks ago. He does an anthology comic book called Packlist Through Image, and then this is collecting the 1949 stuff. It's black and white and color because it's in 1949 and in, I think, present day or the near future. And then kind of like Doc, I'm going to bring out a classic comic book from the past. Somebody in chat said something about Rob Liefeld creating GW Bridge.
Yeah, it was
and
GW.
The first appearance is in X-Force #1. This one has a card in the back that has Sunspot and who's the other dude?
Richter.
Gideon.
Oh, Gideon. Yeah.
Gideon. Of course you want.
Is that the original polybag?
Yeah, baby. Original. Look at that. I'm taking this to the store to sell. And they're going for more money right now. Because of
Very
that.
nice. Sell it before X-Force #1 from Jeff Thorne comes out.
Yeah. Hey, the movie. We got a first appearance here, people. That's a major key right there.
If only Esposito looked anything like GW Bridge in the movie, like in costume or in physicality.
Wow. Yeah.
That wig they've got on him, you can tell that was a last minute reshoot. Ooh.
Oh, I don't know. All I know is he should have some pretty tight pants.
He really should. Also, he should have literally any amount of color on.
Or any amount of muscle tone.
Yes.
Very nice. Well, thank you very much. Is there anything people should be looking out for on the channel, or maybe a appearance? Are you going to be at a trade show or something people need to know about?
No, just check out Fantastic Comics on your socials or YouTube, because that's where
there's a link in the video description.
All right, there you go. Yeah, come on by, say hi. Say Wes sent you.
Absolutely. Appreciate your perspective today. We had lots of retailer questions there. Next up, Sully. You and I already talked about comic books, and you basically like everything, so we don't have time for all 40 comic books you thought were hot.
No, but I have a bag of funny books that I got from my local comic book shop that I go to every Wednesday. So what's in the bag? What do you want? What did I get this week? Let's see. I got Transformers number 10, which is fabulous. I like Jorge Corona's art. It's pretty seamless with what Daniel Warren Johnson was doing before. I got Get Fury number 3. Pretty darn good book. I got Green Lantern 13. We didn't even talk about this one because this has a big reveal. The Lantern of Sadness. I mean, the Sad Lantern is in this. The Lantern of Depression.
Is that Ethan Van Sciver?
No. I mean, this is Carol Ferris's jilted. Left him at the altar to go save Hal, and then the engagement ring turned into the Depression Lantern. So, and I'm not making fun of Jeremy Adams. I love the guy, but I'm just like, this is the emotional spectrum.
I'm making fun of him, and I love him. Terrible idea.
I got Blood Hunt and Hulk number 1, only because it fits in with everything else that Philip Kennedy Johnson's done in this run, and I've got everything else. So I'm a little bit of that completist.
No vampires in that book.
Kinda. I mean, there were some Arizona weird kind of vampires. The subterranean stuff.
Yeah.
They seem to be demons that couldn't be in the sun, but not specifically vampires.
Yeah. And so it fits in with the rest of the work. But this is something that people might be sleeping on. It's precious metal on Image Comics. The art in this is astounding. It's like Mobius level. It's very Euro, very Blade Runner, very grotesque, and it's pretty good. Don't sleep on that.
You might need some LSD to really appreciate the art fully.
But I got this as a crowdfunder with our friend Mark Miller. His daughter, Emily Brooks Miller, put out a crowdfunder, and I got it in the mail. And it's Be More Gus and As Told by Rats. And this is actually pretty fun. And the kid's got some skills. And it's just like dialogueless, 4 panels, simple stuff, but it's fun and it's nice. The rat stuff is pretty mean. And it's very satirical, and it goes for the gut. So she's inherited the old man's sense of humor, and those are my comics of the week. And thank you everyone in the chat, and thank you Wes for having me on. It's always fun.
One of the rats, were they forced to kill their mother or something?
Something. I've only read half of it, but there's a really good one. They're picking out gloves, and everything's a misfit except for the hearts of their enemies. That makes the best gloves.
Did Tom King come in and make a female character eat any of the rats?
Not yet.
Give it time.
It's bad.
Give it time.
Very nice. Thank you for those recommendations. We've also got Mr. Sparrow. You recommend any books this week?
I am recommending that people pick up the facsimile edition of Deadpool #1 by Joe Kelly and Ed McGuinness. First of all, beautiful Ed McGuinness art. Second, if you have never read this run, this is where pretty much all of the things that people like about Deadpool kind of really came together. There was a little bit of it in the Circle Chase with Fabian writing the character, but Joe Kelly is really the one who fleshed out Deadpool, his backstory, his supporting cast. He really does not get enough credit for Deadpool. That's the thing about these things. It's like, a character, an artist can create the look of a character. They can have some ideas of what the character is, but it's a lot of those people that come in later and really build out their world that makes these characters what they are. So I definitely recommend that. One book that I have not read, but that I am interested in, and I was going to ask Uel if he carried it, is Our Sins Are Scarlet #1. That book looks really interesting to me. I don't know if anybody in the chat has read it, but if you have, hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. Let me know what you thought of it. It's got really good looking art from Skylar Partridge, who is an artist whose style I kind of like. And I'm interested in that book, so I've got to find it.
Our Sins Are what?
Our Sins Are Scarlet.
All right, I'll look.
It was on
Kickstarter. You know what company? Oh, it's a Kickstarter.
Is it a Kickstarter?
Because
it shows. Oh, I hadn't. Oh, okay. So yeah, if anybody's read it, let me know what your review is, because I would like to pick that up.
That's a lot of. I'll have people come in and they'll ask me about stuff, and I'm like, "Is that a web comic?" It's almost always a web comic. I'm like, "Get your web comics conversation out of here."
But it
We
looks
sell
like it's
physical
also being
products here.
released into the regular direct market. And Skylar Partridge, I will second that, is a fantastic artist. Really, really good. Good style there. Anything else people need to know about Kneel Before Doomface or any other appearances by Mr. Sparrow? Are you going to be at this funeral?
Oh yeah, I should be. I don't know if I'm going to be on camera yet. I know Chris wants me to do something on camera. I don't know that I've put together something that I feel strongly enough. But I have written some background stuff for him, including a song cover that will be sung, a dirge that will be sung during the funeral. So we'll be doing the Star Wars funeral for a franchise. That's on July 17th. Then I will be at Comic-Con after that, at least on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So if you guys are going to San Diego, come by. I'll be hanging out with Aaron Lopresti at his table. Come by and see me and say hi. I'd love to see you. And, sign up for updates at kneelbeforedoomface@gmail.com. We're going to be launching the pre-launch page pretty soon. Got a lot more stuff planned. And maybe I need to reach out to Lynn Yoshi and see if she's available for a Doomface piece.
You would. If you've got a beautiful character, she will make her look amazing. Really nice artist. Very nice. Next up, we do have Mr. Josh McDonald. Are you recommending any books? Are you still reading comics? You said you read every number one.
Yeah, I'm still reading comics. I am behind on this week, but I will say I read X-Men. I thought it was fine. So if you need a dose of X-Men and you don't want it to suck, yeah, I guess you can go pick that up. I'm gonna second Transformers. I'm gonna second Get Fury. It's nice to kind of have someone that understands, or seems like they have a somewhat competent understanding of how military people speak and not have Twitter speak coming from, sergeants. I'm just going to leave it at that. And then I picked up a book called Kill All Immortals, which I haven't read yet, but I wanna dive into it. It looks like it could be pretty good.
Is that the Chip one?
I don't think so.
Zach?
Zach Kaplan did that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Zach
With Michael Osio, who's one of my favorite artists.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you enjoyed the book more than I did.
Okay, we'll see.
Fairly kind of standard. Did you read DC From the Vault, Death in the Family, Robin Lives #1?
I have not read it yet.
Oh, this is such a terrible name for a fucking comic book.
It is, and I already hate Death in the Family. I think it's the biggest pile of crap that's overrated just because of what it did. So
yeah, but
this
guy
is a great
now.
story. That's fucking Jim Starlin at his finest.
Joker was hanging out with the Ayatollah Khomeini.
He had diplomatic immunity.
That shit insane.
No, yeah, couldn't.
Fucking great story.
He's like, fuck you, Batman.
Diplomatic
We're at the fucking thing, and
immunity.
he's on a camel. He's
He's at the UN. He's
Yeah.
giving a speech. The Joker's giving a speech at the UN. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Loved it. What happened to Josh? He used to be fun.
Yeah, really.
I'm having flashbacks to when we were covering Batman Reptile, and I was like, "This is the biggest pile of shit," and you're like, "This is fantastic."
I never said it was fantastic. I said it was great for what it was, which is really strange.
Yeah, it was weird.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's all. Was it one of them trying to like bone its mom or something?
Yeah, like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It thought reptile. It thought the crocodile guy was. It wanted to have sex with it to breed again.
Yes.
So weird.
Yeah. So weird.
Ugh. No more recommendations?
No, that's it.
You want people what's going on with the channel? What's the layout this week?
Yeah. So come check out Popeye Culture. We'll have our Tuesday show, Culture Popped, coming back. So now that I have power again, hallelujah. And then like I said, we've got Marvelous Monday coming this month, and I've got a ton of stuff. I've got an episode of Cherry Pop that we're going to debut with Max because he watched the first season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so we're going to discuss it.
Oh, Cherry Popped.
Yeah, gotcha. Cherry Popped. We're keeping that pop brand going, but yeah. So a lot of good stuff is in the pipeline. So just come check us out. Give us a follow or subscribe, whatever the hell you call.
A link in the video description.
Smash the notification bell. Push the button.
All of it. Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do anymore. YouTube just shows you videos that they think you'll want to watch. It doesn't matter if you subscribe or not. It's kind of weird.
Pretty much.
Not that I'm saying don't subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate it. But yeah, YouTube definitely works differently now than when I started 6 years ago.
Well, we're moving into an election, so the propaganda machine has to gear up.
Yeah, they're getting those commercials, getting you used to them, so you can't do anything about it.
Oh, those
Finally,
16 like 20-second ones that come right in the middle of a video, like when you're already invested. Yeah, it drives me insane.
It's such the wrong time. Can't the AI figure it out?
I found that it just makes me hate whichever candidate we get.
All right, Doc. Last
Yeah,
but not
that's
least,
what
Doc,
we're
are you recommending X-Men #1? Are you with the bandwagon?
I am not. I understand the arguments of it's all right or it's okay.
It's better than all right.
No, all it is a regurgitated version of 43 other previously done ideas, all thrown into a blender, and it doesn't make them good. Just because you have good ideas that are still executed poorly, that were better done before. There is exactly zero new ideas in this comic. Every single thing in this has been done better previously. Every page, every idea, every angle has been done previously and better. Find me one original idea.
So we got to stop Shakespeare, is what you're telling me?
No,
stop, really?
No, what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this exact comic explored zero new territory. Not even new territory for the X-Men. That's my point. It's all every page, every word bubble, every panel is territory the X-Men have been treaded on previously and by better creators.
All right, Zach.
Talking shit about Ryan Stegman.
It was the worst. It was the worst Stegman art I've ever seen.
It might have been. I agree.
Yeah. Also, it's Ryan Stegman pretending to be Nick Bradshaw, pretending to be Art Adams.
Well,
all right, Doc. What are you going to recommend? There we go.
I am going to recommend
Michael.
The last time, the only person that has ever made a Mystique book work is Brian K. Vaughan, and it had these awesome Joseph Michael Lisner covers.
Yeah.
And
what was the imprint that was?
It was Tsunami. That was the name of it, because there was that. Runaways came out of that. Sentinel came out of that, which was also the only good Sentinel book that's ever been done. The Venom book, the one where they made him really, really, like, the symbiote got really crazy, and he also got very, very hulking. There was
Namor.
There was a Namor book in there where they did it kind of anime style.
Inhuman.
I don't recall there being an Inhuman in the Tsunami line. There was in Marvel Knights.
Oh, you might. No, this one was written by Sean McKeever.
Sean McKeever was doing. That's when they went Sentinel at that point.
No, it's when they went up to the moon and they had a school. They had like a program. You know, what do they call it when you ship students off to other countries?
Oh, yeah, exchange.
Yeah, foreign exchange student. It was an Inhumans exchange student. So like they're on the moon and then they come back to Earth.
I don't recall that being part of the Tsunami line, but I could be mistaken. So the only time that a Mystique book was done well, and the guy that did it, Marvel can't afford him.
Nobody can anymore.
Brian Vaughan. Then we will go with a personal favorite. I love this.
Wow.
Okay, the Hulk 377. This is the second print of it. Normally it's the neon green background with the black like just silhouette of Hulk. But this one with this rad color reversed version is really, really good. There's a third print that is very hard to find, and that's the one that's super expensive. But yeah,
so if you want to make money off Doc, you know what to do.
Yep. And then I got something because, Yule is on the show. I need to make sure that there's a slab here. So we're going to go with X-Men 101. Also, since the X-Men relaunch is happening and the Phoenix is getting her own book that comes out this week, we're going to show the first appearance written by the only man that should ever write anything about the Phoenix, because everyone else that has ever attempted to touch the Phoenix Force has failed and made it worse. So Chris Claremont, the only guy that should ever touch the Phoenix.
Amen, Doc. Amen.
Well, I mean, and Scott Summers. Scott Summers can touch her too. But and Wolverine can definitely get a piece of that. But yeah, so, and it's a 9.2. I actually bought this one raw and for relative, like a really, really nice price a number of years ago, and then sent it out for slabbing myself. And it came back, I expected in closer to like the 8.5 range, and it came back at 9.2. So I was very pleasantly surprised. And then because Yule is here, we're going to have to do a double dose of slabs this week. And because it's ASM. And I know that there is, Yule is the only person that I know is the bigger Spider-Man fan than me. Oh. And this is Amazing Spider-Man 43. I think it's the second appearance of...
I think so. I think 40 was the first.
Yeah, and this is also, I think, the third appearance of MJ.
Oh, yeah. You saw her in a panel in one of them.
Yeah, in a couple issues.
She doesn't get a cover until like, what is it, 50 or something?
Oh yeah,
like
something
55.
Like 50, I mean, in the 50s.
Yeah,
I remember that. She doesn't have.
That's a great cover too.
But I really love this cover. Spider-Man fighting the Rhino. Sorry, it's so glary.
That's great.
Trying to find somewhere that doesn't look like complete shit, an angle that doesn't look fucking terrible, but I'm going to fail at that. So, but I mean, it's a nice low grade, and it was relatively affordable.
All right, good.
So that is my recommendations for the week. Oh wait, no, this is the first full appearance of Mary Jane.
Oh, okay, very good.
She had the cameo.
But she just had a cameo, gotcha.
Yeah, she had only had the cameo up until then.
Doc, is that the Tiger issue? The Jackpot Tiger issue?
I
Minor
don't believe
key, everybody.
So.
First full appearance of MJ. Minor key.
Yeah, I don't believe that's the. I think that was the cameo. The Face the Tiger. You just hit the jackpot. I think that was in the cameo.
That was the last panel, I think.
Yeah.
He opens the door and he's like, "Oh my god, I gotta get set up with Anna's ugly niece."
Yeah,
he's like, "This pig is gonna be coming," and they open the door.
Oh, she's a ginger. I heard.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Fuck, well, I'm so
Back
screwed.
when Spider-Man was more of a jerk.
Oh, she is a ginger.
You can read a lot of Peter Parker's an asshole. He always has been.
Yeah, well, no, especially under
under Lee and Romita. Yeah. Lee and Ditko, Lee and Romita.
He'll fly off the handle like that.
Yeah.
Like if you read those books,
ask for all those ass whoopings.
Well, that episode of 30 Rock West where Liz is talking about how she was so tormented in high school, and then she goes back and you find out that she was actually awful to everybody. That was Peter Parker.
Yeah,
that was.
Like Peter.
I've never watched 30 Rock, but it's almost like the revelation in Cobra Kai, where you find out Danielson was really the big a-hole the whole time.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you saw what he did to that girl in Japan.
Stole my girlfriend. You won with an illegal case.
He just keeps going all over the place, stealing people's bitches. I mean, what the fuck, Danny?
Yeah, he's a real dick.
All right, well, I do want to say thanks, everybody. I think we had a good show. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this one. Hopefully, we'll be having more of these bangers all summer long before we get back into school.
Yeah, boy.
Daddy's gonna go get some chicken nuggets.